Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Eat, Quit and Survive, where a bunch of people gather in different locations playing Dungeons and Dragons.
That's a good response.
I know, we usually don't get it's because the two troublemakers aren't here.
No, we've been away for so long as well.
Just for
about a week off. Well, we've lost the two ones that one of them that was in the room with me, and then the other one that is Connor.
Yeah, I don't have my childish friends that I can giggle with behind my back. Or right in front of Luca.
In front of my face, but behind my camera. You've got Alan. Alan's there, so you know. Yes, Matt is busy working, and Connor is watching football because that's a thing that people do. Apparently, I don't know.
I think a fair few, to be honest.
You say that like it's a myth.
I have heard of watching.
We've heard of this thing called
football. Football. It's out there somewhere in the distance. Anyway, yes, they're off doing that, so we won't see them today, probably. Connor may turn up after it's gone to extra time, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's not going to be.
Maybe if it goes very poorly.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we might not want him here.
Miserable bastard, probably.
He'll bust into the scene, into the cold drunk. Just alright, we'll be fighting. I'm gonna kill the bitch.
I don't think they could. I don't think they could. Naughties in this, do they?
Not in the pool stage, I would imagine.
No.
So Ross, as the closest thing to a football expert here.
It was just worrying.
Yeah, well, no, actually, to be fair, Laura did spend a lot of time watching Luton.
Yeah, not good football, just football.
Usually, football questions I just redirect to the wife, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the girls here that know what we're talking about.
Yep. That's right. Arthur is going to spend his time looking at meatballs instead.
Yep.
Aww.
He's going to be probably an even weirder blend of geek than I am.
Is that
A
possible?
sporty nerd.
Yeah, sporty nerd.
What nerd?
Sports nerd? Sports nerds exist.
Well, there's definitely sports nerds.
I mean, Matt loves everything sports ball.
Yeah.
Race car.
Well, Matt just likes
car race ball. What was
sports
it?
car ball.
Sports car ball.
Sports
Well,
car ball.
Matt just likes sport. He doesn't really care what shape the ball or thing is that's involved in it. It's just as long as it's a sport.
He's got a ball or a car, he's all for it.
Doesn't even need to have a ball. I've seen him watch badminton. Not athletics though, he's not that into athletics. Anyway, for those of you who have joined us and this is your first time, this is how things usually go. So strap yourselves in for some wonderful content as we relive what happened last time on Eat, Quit and Survive. Where we last left off, the Wandering Stars had made their way to the Feywild that had overtaken Nexus. Snuck their way through, passing through the back of some rabbit and owl folk houses, and had reached the giant mile-high tree in the centre of Nexus. Upon figuring out how they were going to fly up this giant tree, they were set upon by treants, and then Velmus, the visionary who responds and looks after the Feywilds, descended. Tried to have a conversation, which did not go particularly well for either side.
Conversation, he was preaching his thoughts to us and he wasn't having a conversation, he was just talking for the sake of talking.
Yeah. It worked as he dropped a effective meteor storm.
Depends what side of the conversation you were on.
His. I was on his side. As he dropped a meteor made of brambles and electricity on you, which knocked several of you unconscious, and scattered, well, not one of you unconscious at least, killed a Pegasus, and caused some, there were 3 people unconscious, just on the carpet, and set us about a frantic hill challenge where people went down and came back up again, went down and came back up again, and Foundling stayed on the carpet and just chilled up there punching things for a while. When the fight seemed to be turning against his favour, Velmus turned invisible and vanished from your sight and then disappeared off out of your range.
You're noticing a pattern.
Yes.
Yeah, these people aren't stupid.
You think we'd learn?
Yeah.
It says on the pamphlet at the bad guy registry office, it's like, make sure you've always got these spells equipped.
You must always turn invisible and run away.
Yeah.
Yeah. If in doubt,
No
run.
fighting to the death.
They get a page that comes through that says, "Don't forget your counter spell."
That's a villainous weekly newsletter.
Yeah. Counter
My
spell.
benefits are turning invisible and running away.
Counter spell, and why it's good for you.
Yeah.
But you, you're just imagining like one of those.
Another good one.
Go on.
How to defeat your foes but keep your friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Having realised that this was not a good situation for you guys to be in, you spent some time debating whether or not you could teleport out to it before realising you had the plane shift, and set off back to where did you go? To the Grove, where you knew you had some allies and somewhere that you could take some respite. However, you were uncertain as to whether the wibbly wobbly timey wimey effects of the Feywild would have any impact on you. So, as you finish casting the spell, you find yourselves into Grove. The spell seems to have worked and you have found your target. People are milling about, doing the various things they do, moving grain and vegetables, seemingly getting prepared for dinner at this point. But they sort of all turn and see this group of 8 battered, only 7 of you, 7 battered individuals and a carpet. Suddenly appear, and one of them sort of comes up to you, sort of human, sort of dark, scraggy hair, comes over and says, "Are you all right, travellers?"
I really don't mean to sound this for this to sound as arrogant as hell, but do you not know who we are? I'm quite serious.
No. No, should I?
DM, most people here know who we are, don't they?
A significant number of people are, yes. You did bring some you brought some refugees here, there were some villagers who were out and about. You haven't met everyone.
Sort of giant damn blimp we've got.
Yeah. You haven't met everyone, so it is conceivable that some people haven't met you, or are refugees from another city that came here. But you do know a large quantity of people. There are possibly people that came from Maymore and made their way here.
Can I spot anyone I do recognise?
Make a perception check.
I will turn uninvisible. I will turn visible. And I'll just say to the person, yeah, we're okay, thanks. We just need to kind of go somewhere over here. Thanks.
Oh.
That's a crit, so 31.
You see everyone you have ever met. No, you. In particular, you do notice that Nordak is pottering around sort of at the temple of Demeter, and is in conversation with some of the clerics that you've met before. Gundamir is sort of flitting about, using his, djinn strength to fly around and move some of the heavier wagons, and is offering out loaves of bread as he goes.
Aww.
Well, that's encouraging.
If there's no immediate anyone doing, if I spot Gundamir, I will walk straight over to him.
Okay. Wander over and Gundamir says, "Ah, it's it. What the fuck happened to you?"
Oh yes, I I do feel a bit battered. You're right. How are you doing? I see you're baking still.
Oh yeah, it's still baking. Would you like some bread?
Yes,
I
please.
made it with gooseberry jam.
That sounds amazing. Thank you very much. And I'll eat some. I'll eat some of the bread.
As you bite into it, it's kind of like one of those one of those sort of swirl knotted loaves where it's just got the jam running right the way through it. It's like a knotted loaf that has got a layer of jam. As you bite into it, you actually gain 2 hit points.
I'm now on 10 hit points.
You're almost on the ground, so you are just sort of
That is
healing
true.
up.
I'm slowly healing up. Yeah. I'll wait a couple of
And,
minutes.
and then I was thinking Goodman had invented Pop Tarts.
Just like a chocolate twist.
Yeah,
Berry twist.
but with good berries. So what happened to you? It looks like you've had a. Well, you looks like you lost a fight with a bush.
Yes, we.
Don't say that. There were definitely thorns involved.
Oh, hi, Leela. Would you like some bread?
Yes, please.
You heal 2 hit points.
Thank you.
We we had an encounter with a visionary, and so it didn't go very well. They did their usual thing where they turn invisible and they fly away.
That is it's most unfortunate.
How's it been here?
Oh, it's it's not been too bad since we last saw you. Everything seems to be fine.
Can I just double check? When did you last see us?
It was about.
Actually, no, forget that. What's the date?
The date is.
Yeah, what is the date? I don't think we've ever in this entire campaign ever made reference to a calendar at all.
It is the 12th day of Hollows month. I'm still getting used to the calendar here because I'm from the airplane. I'm not quite used to the calendar that you
and
have
what
here.
would we have known the calendar to be before we went into the Feywild?
The 12th day of the 8th month of the following month.
So okay, guys.
Haven't lost any time.
Not even been a day.
That's good news. We were in the Feywild.
Yeah, you've been there a couple of times. You summoned me there at one point. It was most inconvenient. In fact, I wasn't supposed to be summoned. I just turned up.
Yeah, I'm. Well, hopefully you're enjoying your freedom now.
I am enjoying myself. It's nice to be free and to bake, and to I've introduced you to my latest lover.
No, who is he? She? They? I'm really sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Can I come say that?
Sure. If you want to come there, follow me, and just starts leading you off towards the little hut that he has. Does anyone else want anything whilst I'm here? Just before I go off and do those niceties.
I mean, maybe. Does anyone want any more of this delicious bread?
No, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Well, I'll have some more.
I will take a piece, thank you.
Throws one across to you, family. Catch it readily.
Deflect missiles!
Throw it back!
I want to see that he punches it and it suddenly goes into some bystander's mouth.
No, it's going straight in my mouth.
Gunnar leads you off to sort of one side and leads you into the hut, and he knocks on the door and goes, Callum, are you here? And just open the door, and you see that there is a rather beefy, muscular-looking guy, about 7.5 feet tall, very oddly similar to how Cedric looks, but without the sort of bovine features, and just has that muscularity about it. He goes, yes, darling. I just introduced you to some of my friends. This is Leela.
Hi, Callum! It's Leela with two threes, not three. Sorry, it's been a really long day. We've just come back from a bit of a... Oh, let's not even go there. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're enjoying the bread. It's lovely. Have you tried it? And I hold some out to him.
I have. I helped him knead the dough. No, it's wonderful to meet you.
I go over and carry on eating some bread.
If it helps, I'm Callum with 3 L's. So.
Nice to know. I will remember. Callum.
Callum. Yes, well, I'm going to go back to baking. Turns around and just goes back to. Good Lord.
He seems nice.
Oh, he treats me very well.
Good. You deserve to be treated very well.
He treats me better than the last person I was with. That was a whole thing.
Yes. Yes, he seems very nice.
I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you okay, Leela? You seem a bit, you seem like you wanted to get out of there pretty quickly.
Well...
Or you were just being very friendly.
I mean, I do like to meet new people.
That's fair.
Although the new person we just met a couple of hours ago, it wasn't very nice. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there was a lot of flying, a lot of falling.
I don't recommend that bit. The flying I can fully recommend, but the falling not so much.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like we probably. I think sometimes we probably don't know what we're getting ourselves into, and then they go, and we have to chase them, and we've not got much time left, and I feel like we need a plan. I mean, really, what we could do. I need the blimp back. I need my crab back, because they will help. And
Gunnar sits down on the large sofa next to you and sort of reaches. He sits on the wrong side of you for where his arm is, and he's kind of like, would you mind?
I've got the stumpy arm.
You've got the stump side, yeah. Would you mind if we?
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you. He takes his massive hand, just sort of rests it on your head slightly.
Are we talking like Drax with Rocket? Just
Yeah, kind of, except if Drax was Groot size.
Okay. Well, original Groot size.
Original Groot.
Okay.
OG Groot.
Not baby Groot.
No. And just sort of the hand just sort of bounce your head slightly. He's like, if it makes you feel any better, they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing at the most of the times from what I have experienced. The amount of times I've come to bail them out on their whim and have just turned up to save the day and to take them somewhere, and yet they have all gone to shit. I mean, they took me back to my home, and then the home was all blown up, and I had to come here, and I lost my arm.
Yeah, was I there for that?
Yes, you were, but that's besides the point.
Really sorry.
No, it's fine. What happened to the blimp? You said it had gone missing.
So we went to go and destroy the first bad person in the mushroom world. I'm still actually quite fairly new to this. I think I've probably only had like a few weeks.
Like a month or not, at most.
I didn't really leave my guild. I didn't really know where places are. But we left it outside. I thought I parked it pretty well. Apparently, I didn't.
Did you forget to put the lock on?
Yeah, I really need to upgrade it. We went in, we came back out, and it was gone. And we've got no way to trace it because it's an object. Can't really find it. We're assuming the bad guys took it because if the good guys would take it, they wouldn't because they know it's ours. But it still looks like a bad guy ship, which I didn't really get a lot of time to change it. Which is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make some more upgrades and just try to make it help us in a better way. Because at the moment, it just kind of bounces up, bamp, and she does that for a good like
Yeah,
bamp.
I understand the bamf.
So, I'm kind of, but it would have really helped in that last one because then we wouldn't have to keep flying up and he had such an advantage. I'm just like, but we don't know where it is. And it's within 100 miles of, I can't even remember anymore, Channel Point. There's 2 channel points, and that's 100 miles. It's a really big area. We don't know where it's going. It could be outside of there. It could be leaving. Oh.
Sits there for a moment, just trying to absorb the speed of everything that just came out of your face, and well, I don't know if this might help, but I do have the capability to cast a wish spell once more this year. I could help you find it.
No, it's okay. I think the wish spell probably could be used for something a lot more important than the blimp. Because I think maybe if we really needed it, we probably might have gone and found it by now. But I mean, I can't make another crab. Medusa gave me that. That's a whole other story. But I could build the cannon. It just might take me a while. Oh, I also lost Dronad. it's a.
Could you make another drone out?
Yeah, but they won't be drone mad. And Droney got captured, but Droney's back with me now, and she'll just get him out and he'll just start kind of.
Oh, that's okay then.
So I thank you for the offer, but I think that's probably best saved for something really important.
I mean, it sounds like this is really important.
Well, the blimp was kind of like it's kind of my drone. It's kind of like another baby of mine. Like I made things to it, and I love things, and I love making things, and I just had a real attachment to it. It was something that I could like do. I could sit in the driver's seat and I make it go bounce, 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 and it was really helpful. But if we don't need it, we should maybe do okay. Maybe. I just don't know. Just trying to think where it'd be or why it's going or. I mean, I had to think because I kind of back in the Feywild, I kind of was on the ground making sure that if anyone did fall to their doom, that I was going to catch them. Not literally, that would hurt.
That's probably would have hurt if Cedric lands on you. That's what the really
Yeah,
hurts.
no, I had.
Oh, Cedric.
I can make people
Sorry,
act a bit nicer. So, so yeah, I was just ready just to catch people, but I just kind of thought, where could they go? Got a few ideas. I know it's within Channel Point, maybe. Could be somewhere else, but with the capabilities he's got now, I mean, like I said, I'd love to have taken it and like made and done things to it. It could be the best. Don't want to use the word weapon,
But it's a weapon.
but I mean, technically, we use its arms to throw things, but what they could do to it could be quite bad for us. Because I mean, if anyone got a hold of it with someone like my brain, maybe someone with my brain.
Callum, I think I've broken her. No? Okay, he's gone.
If I was going to take it anywhere, thanks for the bread. See you later. And she runs out the
Hey.
door.
Okay.
And I run over to the other guys.
Okay.
And I shoot up.
What's else been happening? What have you guys been doing?
Eating bread.
I think we were just
we've-
standing.
We've eaten all the bread. We're now on full hit points.
I was basing on how quickly Leader talks. I presumed I'd only have had time for one mouthful.
In a few minutes.
I might go and see if I can find Ulrion.
Okay.
Here, isn't he? No, he's in Alpha.
He's in Alpine.
I've completely missed that.
Probably seeing if I can find any potions of healing. So there's sort of like a hustle and bustle around, so maybe there's some sort of cart market kind of thing going on.
Make an investigation check.
Sure thing. I'd love to. Roll a 5.
Unsurprisingly, not a lot of potion sellers in the Grove that you can find. It's nothing that you can come across.
Well, okay, I mean, I guess that's how I spend my couple of minutes.
Okay, just sort of,
Well, it's probably only like 10 minutes.
yeah, at most. It's just sort of like looking around the area. It looks like most of what's going on here is that there is people getting stuff ready for food. There are some people that are selling weapons and tools and things like that. It looks like there are some smiths that had escaped from Maymore and have come here to basically plying some of their wares that they were able to bring with them. So there isn't a huge amount of retail opportunities going on. Anyone else, or is that all?
Is there anyone around holding what looks like a strong bottle of booze?
There's a few people that are holding some sorts of booze.
Go up to whichever one looks like it's the strongest, but not too dark a color, because those are usually quite bitter. And I'll just walk up to Mia. How much to buy that off you?
The woman that you're speaking to, sort of in her early 30s, and looks at you and says, "What's it to you?"
A lot.
50 gold.
Oh shit.
Easy. And she just reaches in her bag, pulls out the 50.
Hands it over to you. Tucks it into a pouch.
And after that, I'm just going to walk back to the group. I'm kind of just in my own head at the moment, and I'm just going to slowly sip. I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm just I want something in my hand to sip.
It's fair. It is strong liquor of some sort.
I'm very sipping it.
Not even sipping, just like dabbing my tongue.
Yeah, just
Thimbles. Leela comes scurrying back out of Gundamir's house.
Guys! Drone just kind of. Guys! It's Lyra's left, hasn't she?
Lyra's there.
Oh, I thought she went. Oh.
She went to go find her brother and then realised her brother's not.
She took one step and went, ah. You know, like when you have to then pretend and pat your clothes down?
Yeah, it's like,
You're like, oh, it's just so everyone else knows that you're not a psycho who's just changed direction. You're changing direction for a reason.
Yeah.
That's what just happened.
You have to change direction. You pull your phone out to make it look like
Yes.
you're going the wrong way. Guys! I think I've got an idea where the blimp is. You know, like, okay, I said this to Gundamir, you guys weren't here, but I was thinking in my head when we were back fighting that other guy that I was really into Pam, if I was going to take the blimp anywhere to make it into a weapon, where would I take it? Where would I take it to someone that has my brain that would make those things? And guess where is in 100 miles of Channel Point? My guild.
contrivance.
My guild. It's the one place I would take it. It's the one place that I would try and take it. That's what everyone wants to do, but we just haven't had time, which is totally fine. I totally get it. We've already got 2 weeks left. But if they're going to take it anywhere, then they would probably take it there. It's not got a lot of capability at the moment. I can see that they're trying to upgrade it. So, like, and with that much power, they could do that very, very easily. But the only thing is, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fire there right now. I can't remember.
Yes, there is.
yes.
So, seeing as the Fae didn't quite work out, maybe we're not going to go back there probably anytime soon, unless we do. We kind of double bluff it. He'll think that kind of, they're not going to come back anytime soon, and actually, we do.
I don't think we should risk another trip there in case we just got lucky with the time thing this time.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe leave them for the last.
That was, well, until we can get something that, well, the blip will definitely help, especially if he's high up in that tree. And then at least we can just bounce right outside, and that would be a big surprise. But if that's like another area we have to go anyway to maybe defeat another one, then maybe we could go and check it out. Maybe. It's a long shot. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, where would I take it? And I know I'm not a bad guy. And, well, I think I'm not a bad guy. Where would I take it? Where would I go? Maybe?
Yes, your thinking makes sense. And I like this idea, because if nothing else, the fireplace would be a good place to find things that burn, and when we return to the Fae, we can burn to the ground.
Yes, fire would be a good thing too. But yes, that's all I've got to go on. I had a good thing when I was on.
But first, we need to rest. I need to rest.
Yes, definitely. I mean, whew, a lot of talking.
I was thinking more the fighting.
Asher turns around and says, "The talking pillow is right." I also am immune to fire, so that's a thing.
Did you just say talking pillow?
Asher still seemingly is seeing things that are not there.
When did that?
Never got resolved.
Oh.
I can fix that right now.
You sure?
Yes.
I can do it, and maybe you can save the heal.
I mean, I think we're intending to rest now anyway, aren't we?
Yeah.
We never get ambushed whilst we're sleeping, so...
Well, at least this time we're not in a vessel all by ourselves, away from everyone else. Hopefully someone else will at least hear our assassins coming in. I'm just lying to myself.
Yeah, that's right. I'll pop a 5th level for the Great Restoration.
Okay.
And pop the Diamond Dust.
Thanks.
I'm down to 19 uses.
Oh, God. Use them wisely. Asher, it's question of tactics, though. We're going to try and storm the base of the fire people.
We don't actually know if that is their base. I just know it is in
Well,
and around.
it's where they appeared, I guess. It's where we saw the lava stuff. Anyway, would it be sensible to go alone?
What? Me?
No, I mean just us. Or do we want some army?
Do we have an army that matches up well with a lot of fire?
Probably not, but we might have some spell. We might be able to borrow some spellcasters from Alfheim. Or some of the casters that might know cold stuff. Make the fire go away.
It depends if we want to do it to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Probably hitting's a bit nicer. If we want
Off the
to,
bird.
I mean, kill versus hit. Depends if we want to do 2 things at once. If we want to take on the fire.
Scorch Lord.
Thank you. Or we just want to get the bid back and kind of reconvene, considering we would then get a bit of a lay of the land, and again, just kind of like, boom, boom, I don't know. Or use the army as a distraction. But then I feel bad putting people in that situation. I don't want to use them as bait. It would be quite handy.
We don't know if the blimp is actually there. It's a logical place for it, but we don't know for sure. So we should plan to take on the Scorch Lord while we're there. Going alone allows us to be stealthy. Having a force back us up may, well, give us more force.
With how we just kind of rocked up in the last one, in all honesty, it did not work well. Like, we need to know a bit more of the lay of the land. If we had known we had to fly all the way up that tree, we would have been so much more prepared. This kind of going in and just kind of expecting, not knowing what to expect. It's been a long day. Doesn't always, quite the first time, but I mean, we got quite lucky in that she fell unconscious just before she was about to run. So, like, we literally have an option. I know it's a long way away, but I don't see why we keep running in blind when I've literally got a scrying wall back in the temple. I know it's quite a far way away, but we can literally see every plane. So I'd rather go in there knowing what is going on, rather than rocking up and hoping that we've packed the right equipment in order to defeat the a very big bad. Because
We've fought the Scorched Lord before. We know what to expect.
no, we don't, because we fought him before. What do we think? He's gonna change his tactics. Like, there's a shit ton he could have changed. He knows how we fight. We know how he fights. If he kept the same, well, no, I'm gonna be like, that's a bit stupid.
To be fair, we've also changed, but actually, you've made a lot of good points today, Lila. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Time to think when I was standing on the ground.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk the
Ancient,
carpet, by the way. It was a spur of the moment thing. I thought it was a good idea, but I'm glad you're all safe. I'm sorry about that. I said that to everyone.
But I think you're on the right track. We planned, but all we planned was who we were going to hit next, and that we were going to try and not draw attention to ourselves. That's still a very thin plan. I think you're right. If we get some rest here, go to the temple tomorrow, we can scout out everyone and look for our best opportunity.
Yeah, I think we definitely need some sleep. If people just if people maybe we sleep on it and we think about it and we reconvene in the morning and we see what we think. It's just a crazy idea, but I think it's probably worth a shot.
I will point out this may cost us time, and as we can only travel long distances by magical means, it may drain our magical power to be doing that and limit our options.
Sorry, out of character, I obviously missed the start of that. What was that statement?
Basically, it's going to cost us time, and because we've got to use magic to teleport, basically, we won't have that magic available for other stuff if we want to decide to do it.
Yeah, but right now we got to teleport like everywhere. Regardless, we've got to use that magic anyway. So I think we should try and use it.
It takes up a little bit of time now, but it means that we will have more time in the future. We could literally tackle one visionary a day without losing all our spell slots to start with.
Kalatar says, Zira, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
They have not been much worth sharing. I mean, just dwelling on defeat, which is not helpful, but it's occupying my mind at the moment.
We didn't lose anyone.
We knew this was going to be easy.
I'm just gonna like nudge Lyra with like a bottle of booze and be like,
I'll take it, take a swig, and hand it back.
We learned something from the fight, which I would take as a win.
We've got to lay the land. We know what he's capable of. We could. I mean, by the looks of it, that was the strongest magic he had. So maybe we've got more of a chance of getting him next time. But I think we need to go in more prepared in the future.
yeah, next time with him, I think the thing we need to do is not exactly split the party, but spread out the party, and try and come at him from different angles. Because, like you said, that did seem to be his strongest spell.
Next game. England, Scotland.
And he foolishly got us all to clump together. Isn't me foolish on our behalf, but yeah, we basically fell for that. If we hadn't all been hit by that massive attack, might have gone differently, except for that damn running away shit.
That's okay. I flew across the carpet, so.
That's why I suggested setting fires. He seemed to value his trees. If we start burning them, you may be more inclined to stay and fight.
At the same time, though, I don't know how I feel like setting fire to a world that I don't know. Do they support him or? I mean, I saw a lovely little bunny family in their house. They were having a lovely little dinner.
Yeah, they supported what he was feeding them, and whether or not he actually believes the crap he spouted to us, if they believe it, they're not in the wrong.
Fire's definitely a good option. So, but again, at the same time,
Honestly, I remember we had the conversation about this before. I mean, I don't know, feeling like I'm going to pass out with all this blood loss, but
why are you bleeding?
Huh?
Jared or Kavina?
Fee, obviously Fee's on 10 hit points. Fee's dripping blood everywhere. She's...
like Hefty Brighton and just like start it around a table or something. And just like,
I assume you guys would sort of wander
Yeah.
to a table or to a house.
yeah, we're not just standing there. We're all just like yeah.
But yeah, we decided on this because we said, well, you know, if with the whole issue with time bending and all that, that we might we'd have to do it because we could fail. But I mean, doesn't this whole thing fall apart if none of the planes can get together? So if we just stop everyone but the Feywild one, we should have infinite time to stop that guy, right?
I mean,
And not have to worry about the time bending or dilation or whatever it's called.
yeah, I think if we keep going to the Fae, we don't know what time's going to come back. At least if we go to the other ones, we know exactly how much time we have left. And then if we've got enough time at the end, the Feywild would be the last ditch attempt. I mean, hey, if his theory's right, I mean, the lifetime of the Feywild's not too bad. But yeah, I don't think, considering how kind of worried we were that we'd come back and it was like literally the last day, like maybe at least one of the others, but like I say, if we can get them into it, it would save a lot of time.
Do any of the frontline fighters have, the ability to maybe take on another piece of magical equipment that requires a bit of focus?
What do you mean?
She's saying this in character. That's why I said focus, meaning attunement.
Yeah, no, I'm asking what units are you referring to?
Units?
I'm like, who are you referring to as being able to attune to something potentially?
I'm asking everyone in the part. Frontline, yeah, frontline people. So, and anyone who fights at the front.
So Asher, Cedric, Foundry, Lyra.
Yeah.
I'm not. I've focused on as far as I can go with items.
Because
you can say attunement. Attunement is a thing. It is a known entity as part of the magic of the world. It is known as a thing.
I'm currently attuned to 3 things, but I could potentially swap out. What do you have in mind?
I feel really bad because I did say before we did this that I'd stay close and ready to counter, seeing as I think I'm the only person who can counter anymore. But I go down too easily if I get close. I always end up getting absolutely wrecked. And I do have a magic item that could store a spell, and I thought maybe I could just pass off a counter spell to someone else. I don't know. We need to stop this running away bullshit. There's no point getting our asses handed to us if we don't get anything from it. And today was that.
Yeah, but we went in and we didn't know what we did. No one died. I mean, it was a bit of a close call at one point, but nothing. We got stuff from it. Like, we know what we're going to face, and we know the lay of the land, and we know kind of what we need to do next. It wasn't a total loss, but yes, I do understand the feeling of, oh God, we didn't do it.
You're absolutely right there, but if we did know the lay of the land, if we were fully healed and they were ready to pass out, does that still end up changing the fact that they ended up just disappearing?
No, but that's something we can't control. And we need to be ready for that as well. I mean, it seems to be a bit of a reoccurring pattern with these guys, so at least we know that they're willing to do that. So, again, that's something we need to be prepared for. And if we've got magic that can stop that, then at least we can equip it. So what's the thing that have you got a thing that can stop that? Or
Not really. I mean, I could if I'm right up close, but as I said, if I get up close, I get knocked out usually, and then I can't do anything.
what is it, a spell storing item?
Yeah, I can store up to about, I'm just going to say 5th level, or medium spell into it, so I can do a slightly bigger counter spell into it. It might not guarantee counter a spell, but
I've got a spell storing item that I can give to anyone and they can use it.
Oh, really? It doesn't require attunement?
No.
Yours is a different, slightly different thing. Yours is just your sort of innate is one of your artifice abilities. Katrina like to talk about actual magical items, spell storing item that can only hold up to a 5th level spell. So it can hold like a third and a second, or a third and 2 ones. But yours specifically, you can channel up to a 2nd level.
I would be willing to experiment with taking that into our next battle. We could try it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Or failing that, we could go and fight the ever-moving boulder. If they can't, it's unlikely they'll turn invisible and run away.
that's actually a good point. Maybe that's what we should do. I mean, we extend our time every time we take one down. Maybe we should. I mean, we're going to go ahead and scout them out, but that's really good. If we focus on the ones we feel can't run away, then we can at least, push our deadline back.
So I think we're agreed then. Let's now scout tomorrow. And
How did we leave things with the people at Channel Point?
they were heading for the capital, but it was going to take them a little while to get there. I think we have time to attempt another mission.
They were beginning a 4-day march to Maymore.
And we've basically used one day, haven't we?
More or less. You would have done by the time you've taken your rest.
Yeah. So we could spend a day scouting, a day fighting, and still meet up with them, hopefully.
Actually, that's a good point. We really do need the ship back. Maybe the thing we should scout for first, if we can at least, is just the ship. Because that really does help us out quite a bit. I mean, it would even help with us being able to survey, because I can't make us teleport into the middle. Well, actually, I guess I could teleport us into the middle of the air, but then we all need something to fly on. And as we saw just an hour ago, all of us getting in the air isn't exactly something we do easily.
Well, that's the thing. In order for us to take a glimpse there, we need to have gone there. Or steam through the sky.
Maybe. You've never tried it.
So, in all honesty, scouting missions aren't a bad thing. And the thing is, attack from the air, I think, is actually a very powerful move. Because, all right, he could fly. But what's the likelihood that the Walder is going to be able to fly? And Scorchlord, could he fly?
We actually couldn't fight the ever-moving boulder with the ship, if you remember. He started pulling us down with gravity, it seems. He can affect gravity within a very large range.
But still, even so, even if we could get the net and just having an overview of what we can, we're safer in the air than we are on the ground. Well, theoretically.
Until they shoot us down.
But the thing is, if we got there and things were really bad, I could literally get us out like that. So, and even just one split second of looking somewhere, we could get there a lot quicker.
I mean, you're right. The optimal situation for us is to always fight the enemy on the ship, because even then, if things start to get dire, we just take us, the enemy, and the ship to somewhere else and try and kick them out, like that time with Medusa that somehow worked out.
Yeah. Well, bringing the bag over to our playing field almost. But
Won't work with the boulder. But...
not quite. I mean, might be able to make a big like grappling hook. Be like a claw machine. But
He's bigger than the blimp. That's the problem.
He's a literal mountain, and we're just a blimp.
oh, okay, I thought
He's as tall as the blimp is long.
Oh, I couldn't remember. I just thought he was just a really big rock.
So he literally walked out of a mountain.
I don't remember these things. But yes, we can either decide if we want to make, if we go and get the blimp, do we also want to try and go for Scorched Lord with or without help from the army, or scouting missions, just find a blimp, recuperate, come back and attack him head on when we know a bit more about what we're getting into. Kind of how the two options.
Yeah, I think that'll be best.
Because if we found a blimp to get us out of there quick enough, it just can't get us in there. But it gets in there once we've been there. So
Luke,
Yes.
off the top of my head, how much can the blimp pick up? I don't remember.
It does have a carrying capacity of many.
many, because we did it to see how many people.
I believe the technical term was fuck tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more technical than that, I think it's actual tons. It has a carrying capacity of. I've got the stats here somewhere. It can carry 80 passengers and 80 crew. It can also carry 150 tons of cargo. So in theory, you could stack a bunch of passengers in the cargo section and carry more.
Oh, okay.
More people.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be comfortable, but you could technically do it.
Hey, it works for the Trojan. In a horse.
Yes, in a horse.
Why are you thinking? Just loading the army in there?
Yeah. No. Luke, is the blimp disguise on it waterproof?
It's weather resistant. It's not a complete airtight.
Have I seen anything that looks like a giant bucket or a giant bowl?
It looks like a giant bucket.
Yeah, something like that.
You, Kafina, have seen many bowls that were larger than normal.
Hang on.
Like,
we need a cleric to get us to divine invitation against a really big bowl.
Like,
you have seen giant bowls for giants.
yeah. Everyone else already gets where I'm going with this, but
I know.
Do we?
I know.
really,
No,
the
basically.
well, the idea was to have the blimp basically rock up with a shit ton of water just to kick off the battle. It's like
shit first, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just rolling around ideas in my head.
Extra arms could carry like a thing to douse water on.
Oh, what, you want to go in with the blimp and just turn it into one of those firefighting helicopters that just wipes a sack of water?
Yeah, I mean, bamf in, drop water, bamf back to the ocean, get water, bamf back, drop water.
Don't we think the blimp might be in the fireplace?
The bad
As
place.
soon as you get the thing, you bounce back to the ocean where it got stolen from, pick up some water, bounce back.
I mean, if you're going to do that, we may as well start skipping water out of the water plane place.
I mean, actually, it's not like that.
It's not the worst idea.
Pick up some fire this end, throw it on the water place, pick up some water and throw it on the fireplace.
Oh, it looks like Luke's head's hurting. We're doing well.
Honestly, the thing I'd really like to do, however I know it's going to be impossible, is if one of the magic casters actually could learn the spell that was used for opening holes in planes, and then I'd just like to basically open them to each other so that they kind of start cancelling each other out.
Gate
You would like for one of your party members to cast the 9th level gate spell.
Yes,
Ah, that's what I want.
that would
Thank
be
you.
ideal.
Yeah.
Can we make it happen?
No, none of you can cast the 9th level spell.
God damn it!
I mean, Gundamek can cast a 9th level spell.
He can't cast that 9th level spell,
No, Gundam can cast a specific 9th level spell. He cannot cast.
which can be any spell less than 9th level.
Yeah, he could go up to 8, and that's it.
Nice idea, but I think we're gonna have to take more of a hands-on approach.
Also, you fought the Scorch Lord. He wasn't particularly affected by water. He was a fire giant.
Yeah,
we have this treating fights in D&D like it's Pokemon.
That's what Laura just said.
literally.
Actually, I was.
Pokemon brought us to this point in time. If you are not following those rules, you're lost.
I mean, yeah, it's based
You are
on
not
reality.
trained for this.
We're going to put you in the box. Hang on.
Trained for entire non-Pokemon life.
She's been playing Pokemon for about 3 months. And
Yeah. And if I've learned anything, fire is defeated by water.
So you're saying we need to go and find a bunch of the Iron Flask magic items and capture powerful beings in them, and then...
You do have an Iron Flask.
Okay, yeah, but can we catch magical beings in them?
You've had an Iron Flask for a while. You've just never looked into it.
Who has that?
I don't know. Someone has it. But you do have one. Because I...
Yaksha.
Probably, actually. It's probably in stuff. You do have an
Black
Iron
hole.
Flask.
What does an iron flask do?
Stuff.
I love that how just every so often it's like Ash is like, oh, I've got this really powerful magical item. I'm not using it. I've had it for like months. Does anyone else want it?
Put it here, but we never remember it ever again.
Actually, I think Kelatar picked it up. It may have been one of those sessions where Matt wasn't here, so just in my head canon, he picked it up because you guys didn't. But it was found. But no one specifically said, I'll have that.
I forgot what you were talking about.
Getting rest and scouting
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
think she'll get the rest.
I'll-
I mean,
I'll-
Kelatar does have the World of Many Worlds still.
It is random, but we can only do it how many times a day?
Once every 8 hours. 1d8 hours.
Yeah.
Saying that, can we remember what actually worked against the Fire Lord, Scorch Lord, Scorchy Boy?
Asher points at her sword.
We had the big meteor shower that we managed to survive, and that's how we won.
Actually, no, Asher wasn't there for that fight. That was when Asher
It
was
was Anna. Yeah.
Anna.
Was I there for that?
I think this was pre-you.
Yeah, okay, so I don't actually know. So,
Yeah.
So water doesn't work.
It's not that it doesn't work, it's just it doesn't have any particularly strong effect.
It was like throwing water over you. It'll get you wet, but it won't really make that much difference to your life in general.
I mean, yeah. The idea was more to, yeah. The idea was more coming from the fact that last time we fought them, the terrain around them was quite fiery, and we already know the terrain around the contrivance is basically burning. So the idea was just to put out the terrain hazards so we can focus on the enemy.
Yeah, for the terrain, that's not a bad idea. But again, we don't have the plinth. So if we can like equip ourselves to maybe be watery just to get through into the plinth, sure, that's a good idea.
I do like the idea of you guys having a conversation of, right, we need to get the blimp. How are we going to do that? Well, I know what we can do. We can go get the blimp. We can take it, get a load of water, pour it on the place, then we can get the blimp. How do we get the blimp to the
No!
Right.
I just said that we're not going to have the plinth.
No, I know. That was what was happening about 5 minutes ago, which was amusing me.
But so we need to kind of, because the thing is, I can switch out spells. Like I'm sure a few of us could probably switch out spells or items. Like I had a blooming staff of fire. If I had known a staff of fire would have been good against old fly boy there, that might have worked a bit better. But we didn't know what we were getting into.
I mean, did fire spells actually hurt him more? I think it just hurt the trees more.
But the trees were part of the problem. Like if we didn't have them, we would have had a hell of a lot more opportunity.
Trees didn't strike me as that much of a problem. In all honesty, they they were an annoyance. No, the big problem was the several hundred feet of space between us and the ground. That was
I mean,
the problem.
each of us finds those things difficult in different ways. I wasn't worried about the height. I was worried about the giant rocks coming at me.
If the rocks hit us, they would have been a problem. Fortunately, I mean, we kind of got out of there. But the thing is, we don't know how many more they can flip. What I'm saying is, we're getting off topic. What do we have that we know works against the Scorched Lord if we come up against him?
I mean,
Hitting them a lot.
yes,
That works for everybody.
weapons worked last time.
What did, sorry?
Magical weapons.
Okay.
Don't know. Probably radiant. I think. Oh no, it was Anna. Anna might have dealt some radiant damage to it, possibly.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, if we're still not quite sure what will work, then that's fine. We'll just have to try and be a bit more fair, but at least we kind of know a bit more. But yes. Yes.
Started so confidently.
Yeah. And then just right out.
should we just have a night's rest and come back to this in the morning?
That would be my preference.
Yes.
All right. So you take yourselves to the bedchambers of the house that you have, taken over for the night.
Yeah.
You set yourselves up for an evening of rest, which you do complete. You may have a long rest. I'll be after Kelvar and Asher.
The only reason I asked was because I want to
Change spells?
If this is what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to change spells. So
Okay.
so y'all can have breakfast. Leela's just going to take a bit of time in the morning just to rearrange her spells.
Yeah. Was Kafina handing over the spell storing ring to Foundling? Did we agree on that?
We hadn't necessarily, because I think we decided that we might try
Scrying into it first.
Oh, although actually I'm super glad actually Cedric took that thingy he did yesterday. So I'm gonna have to roll an Arcana check for this. But I want to try and put a 5th level counter spell into the ring.
Okay.
Oh, let's not fuck this up. One big number, yeah. 27.
27.
I needed a 20. So
Yeah, I was with you. Okay.
Shat myself. Right, yeah. That was my last slot of the day, so I could get a.
Do you cast that?
Cast it before rest because I cast the Great Restoration, which meant the 5th level slot was open.
Okay.
obviously.
I believe in order to cast spell that you would have had to attune to it first, but over the course.
Well, we've got the.
Yeah.
We actually.
Over the
kind
course
of...
of the night, you managed to plot it out. It's fine.
Cool, yeah. Thank you.
No. Laura is still here. She's just switched off.
Yeah.
Camera off.
This is not a flattery angle where I've got my computer.
Yes, right under your nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right.
But yeah, sorry, Don, to answer your question, I don't think we decided on definitively using that right now. It was just open as an option for when we think we will need it.
You've charged up the ring and we'll decide what to do.
Now
with
it's
it.
actually charged instead of
Very
being a useless ring, yes.
Yes. We can use it in Brightest Day or Blackest Night.
Sure.
The evil shall escape your sight.
Oh, is this Lord of the Rings, is it?
Oh,
No.
Green
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 Lantern.
Lantern.
Oh, so even, yeah, anyway.
Much more
Anyway.
obscure.
So, as you come back to consciousness, Cedric, are there any spells you're going to change?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, but I was thinking of doing something, but I think I need to gather the components before I switch the spell out, just in case. So,
Alright.
because they're a little bit more complicated. I mean, How likely is Cedric to be able to find incense and ivory?
Depends how much.
At least 200 gold worth of ivory.
Not very likely.
Yeah, based on the fact that I couldn't fight. What was I even trying to find? Oh yeah, potions earlier.
Yeah.
It's
Unlikely
not
you'll
exactly like exotic goods are in this area.
Yeah. No, there's no potions. The mammoths, on the other hand.
Yeah, loads of mammoths everywhere. Ivory's a big trade go through.
Yeah, the incense trees are blooming at this time of year.
Yeah. No, okay. In which case, then,
Damn it.
I
thought it was a good idea.
I'm going to pick up Holy Aura.
Okay.
And I'm trying to decide on the other spell I want to pick up. So I need time to consider as well. Do I have to turn my camera off whilst I consider this unfatchery angle?
As you guys ponder. All right. So morning comes as you're still contemplating your spell choices for today and various other bits and pieces that you want to do. Is there anything that you want to do before you head to the Temple of Gaia, which I believe is where your next destination was? Why are you looking at me like that?
No.
Sorry, I got another components question.
Yes.
Remember why we were going there?
Yeah, I thought we were just going to go to my guild.
Oh, I thought you were going there because you wanted to scry on everyone first.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. We're going to scry to find the ship, to get the ship, to then help the army, right?
I mean, we could do just. I mean, have we got a way to get there quickly without using tons of resources?
Yeah.
Have we got a way to get to the guild?
I can plane shift as an option.
I mean, yeah. Well, the temple's on the material plane, right?
The temple is. I will point out that the plane shift spell does require you to have an item attuned to that plane, which you don't.
But, that's.
Wait, which guild? Wait, which plane are we talking about?
Fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can like
It's
match.
fine. It's fine. Yeah, we'll just set Cathedral on fire.
Can I?
It's a full minute of fire, like trying to cast the. Oh no, wait, plane shift, not teleportation. So I was just imagining trying to cast the spell for a minute on fire.
No, don't worry.
You're motivated to get done faster.
I mean, technically, you could teleport there and then teleport near to place.
Yeah, so we haven't tested this yet, but even though, so they're a separate plane, but they're sort of existing in the same physical space as the material plane, we can't use teleport to just go there because it still counts as a separate plane.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, we can just teleport to outside it, but see, this is why I think we really need the ship, because if it's like a fire plane just spilling out, we need to get to the center of it. We need a way to get. I've only got 2 keys, and it's for material and phase, so.
What was the components question you were asking, Ross?
No, I backed out because it doesn't do exactly what I was after. It was basically mushrooms and some other small bits, so it probably would have been really easy to find them. But I did the thing where I then read the spell and actually.
Oh, you read the whole spell?
I read the whole
you
spell.
Didn't just read the first part of it?
Correct, and it wasn't as useful as I thought it was going to be.
Mind you, if you are going to the temple, there is a possibility they will have spell components for clerics available.
Yes. Yeah. I just saw True Seeing, and I thought, oh, that's really good if things keep turning invisible. But actually, it's just secret doors and ethereal plane, not necessarily invisibility, which kind of seems like a dumb design choice. That a spell called True Seeing doesn't see things also invisible, but you know.
Should do.
No, you gain true sight, and true sight sees through illusions, which is what invisibility is.
Okay.
Invisibility is an illusion magic.
It's not using, right, okay. Yes. So when I said I read the whole spell, I read the beginning bit and the end bit. where it
You missed
says
a bit in the middle.
for the duration, and the creature has, and then I skipped on to notices secret doors by magic can see into the ethereal plane. Okay, in which case I need 200 gold pieces of mushroom powder, saffron, and fat.
Those would actually be a little high quantity if you were fun. You could certainly find them.
In which case I shall prepare that spell and attempt to find those items at some point this morning.
Okay. I would say that this would be a nature check.
Whoa!
Can I assist
Please,
Cedric?
please do.
You
'Cause
may.
every time I'm like, oh, I must be good at nature, and I'm not.
You have advantage. Lyra is helping you.
Yes.
Yeah, true sight. A monster with true sight can, to a specific range, see in normal and magical darkness, see invisible creatures and objects, automatically detect visual illusions and succeed on saving throws against them, and perceive the original form of a shapeshifter or a creature that is transformed by magic. In addition, the monster can see into the ethereal plane at the same range.
That's pretty good. I got a 14.
14. Okay. Easy enough to find the 25 gold pieces rather than the 250 that you said.
No, it was 25. It was 250 for stuff earlier, wasn't it? I said
I thought you said 250 worth of like mushroom
maybe
powder.
I don't know. Maybe I said that.
Yeah, no, you're easily able to find mushrooms that you can powder down. You're able to find animal fat. Saffron's a little bit tricky. You're able to find some.
I'd expect Gundermere has some.
I was just going to say, yeah, you just
Yeah,
Gundermere's baking supply.
Yeah, you raid Gundermere supplies. You get some fat from that. You get some saffron. Perfect.
For one lot, is that?
You get enough for one for the 14. That's okay. That's probably a bit of a break in a second. Just sort of coming up to that sort of time. Is there anything else you want to do before we go on to a break? Any other preparation that you want to do for your day?
I do not think so.
There is something I already had planned that I wanted Vita have thought of when she's long resting. So when the team gets back together, I just want to, share a thought.
By all means, share a thought.
Okay, so it's next morning and we're all together sitting around preparing and all that.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I'm just setting the scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so had an interesting idea regarding them getting away from us. Kind of came to me last night. One of the spells I picked up when I had this weird alignment planar shift or whatever. You guys have seen me use it before. It creates a wall of force. If I'm right, that works in the ethereal plane too. Now, it wouldn't stop the teleportation, but it would at least keep them pinned in. And the size I can make, if all of our front people got there, I could kind of create either a fully enclosed box or maybe a box that only has one opening. And maybe that would at least prevent the whole invisibility, ethereal plane, escaping shenanigans. Obviously, teleport we're still fucked with, but I don't know if any of them have done that. I mean, I don't know where that last prick went. I tried to cast see invisibility twice and I failed twice. So, yeah.
Seems like a reasonable idea.
Yes.
I don't know. My ideas usually sound like they might be reasonable, but then end up being terrible. I wasn't sure, but I can create a fully enclosed box of, say, a 20 long cylinder that's 10 high, 10 wide. Sorry, not cylinder, rectangle. I can create a sphere, but I think the rectangle would be better. And yeah, we could have one side of the rectangle open, and I don't know if this is a strategy anyone likes the idea of, but
anything that limits their options of running away is going to be helpful.
Well, how about this? Instead of me using that of my own accord, I let you all know that that's something I can do. So if someone yells out "Fee, cage us" or something, then that means enclose us into a cage. if you're like, Fee, block off the exits, then I'll do it all bar one, and which is the direction me and everyone else who keeps our distance will be at. Yeah, I don't know if that sounds good.
That sounds good.
Good. Okay, I feel like we're getting closer to getting around their fuckery.
Yeah, and the thing is kind of, you don't have to worry about seeing invisibility. I can see invisible things. I've got that spell. So if anything becomes invisible, don't worry about that. I will find them because I can also become invisible and then maybe go after them. However, but yeah, I wouldn't worry. Your magic's probably better used in other spells like Wall of Force or getting us out of there if needs be. So don't worry if they go invisible. I think there's a few of us that can probably, or at least I can do that.
Okay, good. Cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Continue eating.
If we're going in dealing with some fire, potentially, I have 2 fire resistance potions, by the way. So, maybe at least one's up for grabs there. Just as a heads up. Foundling, would you think you would like the other potion? Fire resistance?
I seem to recall I resisted the heat fairly well last time we went to the fireplace, but if no one else wants it, I will take it.
Doesn't seem there's any takers. Here
Okay.
you go.
I think it's better for people that are going to get out.
Kalatar, you've been unusually quiet. Would this be useful for you?
Well, I'm not resistant to fire. I can resist the holy fire, but not the actual fire. Probably, yes, that might be appreciated. If no one else needs it. I know Asher knew, she breathes a lot of fire. But fire hurts.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. Potion of fire resistance.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I was thinking.
Okay. That's a house potion of fire. No, Kellis already have one, apparently.
Okay then, Foundling will take it if Kalatar already has one.
Apparently I don't need this. I found this other one.
Ooh.
Yes.
Doesn't say equipment anymore. It says inventory.
All right. So, if there is no other immediate preparation, we shall take our break and we will come back. Yes.
Where it's working.
Sorry, I forgot to put the car away.
Hang on, I think I heard the blimp flying past. Let's go get it.
That was the Goodyear blimp, not ours.
You've got big wheels at the back and tiny ones at the front. It just tips up.
That's fine.
Okay then.
Blimp my ride.
Did you say pimple blimp?
Blimp my ride, yeah.
Nice. All right, so we will take our break there. We'll come back in about 15 minutes and we'll pick up from there. So, see you in a few.
There's a
And we are back. So, now that various preparations have been made, what are you guys doing?
Planning.
Well, I think we need to talk about this at some considerable length.
Go ahead.
That was all I wanted to say about it.
Oh, that's all right then.
So we're getting the blimp back?
We're scrying fast and then going to get the blimp back, I believe.
Well, let's do it then.
Let's go!
Let's just tell Gundamir or Nordak where we're going first,
Yes.
so they don't think we've just randomly disappeared.
Although that would, they probably would not be surprised if we did.
Alright, who are you seeking out?
Gundamir, obviously.
Yeah, Gundamir.
Okay.
We don't want to be told our plans against the rules.
No, that's fine. Alright, you find Gundamir. He's it's Morgan. You're off again, yeah?
Yes, Gundamir.
Where are you heading off to, if you don't mind me asking?
We're going to this big room with lots of mirrors, I think.
Is it nearby? Or how are you getting there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think some of the usually Kafina gets us around.
I'm just thinking, do you want to have, for old time's sake, would you like me to make you farts?
Sorry, excuse me, Gundamir. Farts.
As that is the primordial word for clouds.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if that would help.
We could travel very fast that way.
Light speed's magic. Sure. I'm ready to be a cloud.
I mean, we know roughly where we are in relation to the place. Is this feasible?
It is. You end up having to. You'll have to fly around Nexus to get there. You'll have to either fly. You'll either have to fly north around Nexus and come down between Nexus and Avalos, or you'll have to go sort of south between Nexus and Maymore.
Let's not do that.
Bearing in mind, Nexus and Maymore are 4 days apart from each other, walking distance. So there is you could bisect them fairly easily, but that is a risk.
Would it still be worthwhile if we can't fly to where we're going first to at least have the spell on us if we do want to use it to move once we figure out where the blimp is? I mean, the blimp's going to be in the air. The ability for us to turn into clouds and get on it could be useful.
The problem we've found with that before is that it takes a minute to change. Not good for rapid assaults.
I can cast the spell on you. It lasts for 8 hours.
I mean,
that would be very nice then, Gundamir.
Okay.
Yes, please.
It can't hurt to have the option.
There you go, I've done it. Goodbye.
Oh, okay. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh, it's okay. That's all right. I'm sure I will.
Do you want to come with us?
Oh, well, if it's not going to be too much fun, it's not going to be in the way at all, it might be fun.
I think.
Really? It's quite dangerous. Did you not hear kind of what I was talking about when we were sat having that lovely conversation yesterday?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anything to happen to you, Gundamir.
Well, he just looks a little bit flawed. To be honest, I had a lot of fun with you guys when I was, being pulled out of the ring and having the adventures, and I'm not sure how well suited to domestic life I would be, particularly given that I don't have a home to be domestic in.
What about your boyfriend?
Boyfriend is probably a touch strong. Callum's sort of, what's the word you're looking for? A bit of nookie, I think you'll say. I believe that's the word you use.
A bit of crumpet on the side.
Pork. If we pork, is that I don't. We have sex. That's.
Oh, right. That one I understood.
Okay.
Oh, I understand. He's your Kelatar.
Looks at Kalatar. I mean, Kalatar's not my type, but
that's the kind of thing. No offense, Kalatar. It's the kind of thing you tended to get up to when you're not busy saving the world.
I'm offended that you think I can't do both. Asher, you just hear a sword being sharpened.
Well, you are free now, so, and as you can see, we accept anyone. So,
More help!
if you wish to join us, then
Do you think it might be worth getting Nordak as well to come along?
Sure.
I mean,
I'm
maybe.
all
If he wants to come, I mean, we were discussing this. Stronger force is well better.
It depends on what you want to do. If you're wanting to get people and to, I don't know what your plan is. Are you just going to go there and then attack, or are you going to do something else? I don't know.
We're going to do some magical spying at this location with the mirrors, and then decide where to attack.
That's I can come along. That's good fun. Maybe. At least I can make an informed decision.
Okay.
That is the most important thing. Informed decision.
It is, yes. Okay, let's go do that.
Okay, where are we going? And how are we getting there?
Temple of Gaia, and I believe we're going to use a plane shift.
Well,
That one's on the material plane. You don't need to plane shift for that one.
Yeah, but plane shift 6th level spell, teleportation 7th level spell, and requires me to guarantee it using focus of balance, whatever it's called. Whereas if I just level 2 rope trick into plane shift, we can still do it. And I actually have plane shift as a known spell, whereas I don't for teleport. That's why it's harder.
Or we could start.
Or we could fart there.
Let's fart. True for Gundermere.
Oh, why not? I mean, we won't be able to say anything, so it'll be unfortunate, Leela, because I know we like to have a conversation. But for the moment, we'll just sit quiet as the winds. Now concentrate on being wind.
Still working?
It takes a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's it.
If you turn into clouds and you are able to fly across. It does take you a little while, but you are flying 10 times faster than you would walk. So what would normally take you about 3 days of walking, you get there in about an hour and a half.
Nice.
But you arrive at the Temple of Gaia, where the various acolytes are there, pottering around.
Stop being a cloud.
Yeah.
close to the ground.
I believe. Part of my notes, I wrote it down.
I didn't.
Yeah, I believe it was Kadok.
Yes, that sounds right.
Well, Kadok or Haddock? No, it's Haddock. Obviously, named like a fish.
Yeah, I was going to say, you sure it's not Haddock?
It might be Kadok. What's that Kadok?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I don't think it was Haddock. Or Haddock. I don't know. His name's now Kaddock.
Kadok. Okay. No, it was Daddock. That's what it was.
Daddock.
Yes.
The dog.
Daddock.
Okay.
Anyway, you arrive and Father Daddock is there. Among the acolytes sort of recognise each of you, look curiously at Gundamir, and then leads you in to the temple where Father Daddock is there. Welcome back. Is there something I could assist you with?
We spoke about last time that we could come back and use the orbs to look at places. Is that still okay with you? I know this is your sacred place, and I know it's not ideal, but it really is very helpful.
No, of course, absolutely. If you wish to. I'm sorry, we didn't introduce. Oh, apologies. I'm Gundamir. He extends his left arm out to. I'm Father Daddock. I'm first of the. I'm one of the cleric of Gaia here, but for these crystallites clan that we have. Tell me, your arm. Want that back? Yes, I would rather like my arm back if that's at all possible. It's it does get in the way in not having a second arm.
Ironically, because it's not there.
I know it's weird. And Derek says something and just mutters a prayer, and you see the arm start to slowly regrow. That'll do you for a little while. Give it an hour or so, and it should come back.
This is where I forget that I also could have just done that, and the fact that he only had one arm.
You'd forgotten he'd lost an arm.
But yeah.
Wait, Cedric's a cleric?
He is now!
Thought he was a mushroom.
I know, right?
But you have access to the scrying mirrors.
Yes, please. Take it down into the frame.
You head into the scrying room
Yes, please.
and set up. A few of the acolytes are there, sort of keeping an eye on you, just making sure you don't, you're not peeping on people changing or anything like that. Just making sure it's legitimate use. What are you, or where are you trying to look first?
First of all, I'm going to try and find a blimp at the field.
Okay. So you're scrying on the location. You're using the scrying to scry on a location. And double checking scratch. You can choose a location you have seen at the start of the spell. So yes, you could choose a location within the guild if you wanted to. So where would you like to look?
Well, they're not. I don't think we're going to put the blimp in the building.
Well, no, because you went around for the actual description of the place. It is effectively a big cave inside the back of a mountain of a cliff behind the waterfall. So there is a vast cavern in there where the different laboratories are basically bubbled on the outside of the sort of living areas below. But it could fit in there in the big, effectively just be a big hangar for it.
Guess I'm looking there then.
Okay, you focus and concentrate. You pick a spot that's sort of near the back of the waterfall where you can look out and you can see many things from a distance. As your vision consolidates and the shapes start to come into focus, you see the shape of the blimp contained within this cavern. The cavern itself, you recognize the different pods that are attached to the walls, and there is a lot of orange and burning that seems to be going on within this area. Around the blimp itself, temporary scaffolding has been constructed, and there are people working on the outside. They are attaching things. The covering has been taken away, and they are starting to attach various things to it. They have attached what looks like, basically, they've attached gauntlets onto the tentacles on the front, in as much as, unfortunately, I've got no better way of describing it. It's like they put a slinky over your wrist.
Like bangles.
Kind of. But it's like a solid, it's like a gauntlet kind of thing.
They Thanos stick.
Yeah, but with spikes around the outside. So it's fully articulated, so it does move around still in the same way that it does. But they have put armor plating across it, and they've put spikes.
It's like, not like chainmail, but it's like plate mail almost, or scale mail or something like that.
Effectively, yes. On the outside of the sort of fleshy spikes.
So kind of them to beef up our ship for us.
The psionic cannons that are also mounted to the exterior are also lined alongside them. They do have what appears to be barrels that they have attached to the outsides that seem to be in a position, basically from the balcony, that they can be pulled and dropped.
Nice.
There is also quite a lot of people climbing into the back and what looks to be stockpiling weaponry and what looks to be large humanoid creatures that are stepping in rather clunkily, but getting inside the blimp itself, within the cargo hold.
Do they look like prisoners, or do they look like...
Make a perception check to get the proper details of this, because you are quite a distance away and sort of backlit the shadows.
From a distance.
28.
No, these appear to be they are closer in construct to your drones than they are to being actual humans.
Big drony.
Big drony, or kind of very similar actually to the sorry.
Hulkbuster.
Kind of, yeah. Hulkbuster and the Mecha Tanks in Legend of Korra.
Oh yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
That sort of
okay.
thing, just sort of clonking their way into the back of the blimp. You also notice that the cannon on the top of the thing, you can see the crab has been set in the what was the pool that the Elder Brain would have sat in once upon a time. The crab has been set onto there, and the cannon is loaded on top.
My crab.
The crab still has its legs, but it's been rolled up and it's been anchored down so that it doesn't move. But you can get chains and cut them off. But they've just put it on top with the cannon on top.
Okay then.
And you can see that there are people discussing. There is a huge fire giant who is standing sort of back to the waterfall with two large, almost like shovels or sort of things that you would see at the front of a snowplow. That is standing there. Yeah, two large spiked scoops that you guys would recognize as being the Scorch Lord's shields that he wielded in the previous battle. And he has stood there looking up and giving instructions, but he is out of your hearing range. But giving instructions to someone who is a lot smaller, female and elven, the foundling you recognize.
Oh, okay.
You recognize this to be... I don't know myself with my notes. This person is... I think I knew it a week ago. This is Project leader Barali Horace.
Yes. The drow.
Yep. And he is making notes and seemingly nodding and taking from the instructions. As the images move around, you do also see that there are individuals that look similar builds to Foundling, but some of them, instead of having things like gills and things like that, they have also got this sort of carapace-like armor that covers their skin. Some of them have got tentacles that extend out from their arms. Some of them have got wings grafted onto their back. Some of them have got what looks to be electrical discharge between their fingers as they wander about. This seems to be that they are gearing up their army, because there are maybe 24 of these soldiers wandering around, or these warriors that are, or these people that are there with these augmentations, as well as the golems and mechanical constructs that have been put into the blimp.
Kind of how many other people there? So we've got golems as well.
There were the golems that were the ones that were being loaded into the back. There are a large amount of what you recognize to be the goblins and gnomes that made up the majority of the guilds. Seemingly, a lot of them were kept alive because of their technical knowledge and their capabilities, but they are enslaved. And they are being used to work to either produce things or to guide things around to make sure that conventionally used. Some of them you can see it's pretty distasteful for you as you look around. You see that there are some who obviously refused, and their burnt bodies are being displayed, hanging from some of these pods. And one of them that you kind of have a look at below is a metallic donkey that has also been burnt with it, which each of you would recognize as being the seed of the Scorprite. You met Bongo, the leader of this guild, seemingly refused to take part in this scheme and had fallen because of it. And been set as an example. But in terms of a head count, there are various other things that are moving around. You know, there's about maybe that high perception roll. You would have counted 10 of the mech suit or golems stepping into the craft. You don't know whether they're alive or whether they're like mechs, whether they are like Hulkbuster armors, or whether they are golems that are moving around with their own volition. There's about 10 of those. There are maybe 50 or so goblins and gnomes that are dotted about doing those bits of work. There's the 2 dozen, 25 or so of these subjects and warriors that are standing by. That are stood by the by this woman who's talking to the Scorch Lord, and a number of other people that seem to be attaching armor to flame and creating effectively fire elementals in armor. There are about 30 of those. There are bound to be others that are unseen somewhere.
Yes. Foundling is going to comment on seeing this drow. I recognise that drow. That's Project Leader Hareth. They're the one that made me, and it looks like they've been busy. I'm not surprised they've continued their experiments. I'm surprised it's taken them this long to reappear. I suppose they've found safety and subjects to work with within the cult.
Seems to be that the way that they are speaking, this is someone speaking to a direct subordinate. And from what you have seen as a member of the cult, this could well be the Scorch Lord's captain. Craftsman.
They need to be stopped. There's certainly formidable numbers there. We may need a bigger force to go in.
Leela,
Yeah.
those I tried it a bit, but I was never very good at the mech stuff. Those ones that you can see there, do you understand what kind of model they are or how they function?
I need a bit of a closer look, but it's probably not something out of my range if I've got to look at it. I can't tell if they're alive or they're just suits, or I need a closer look. But anything that we can get away from these guys is better than normal. And as much as taking these guys out would be good, I don't want to sacrifice my friends and my family that are also being made to work there. If we can make a fight, maybe we can make a fight out of the mountain. Draw them out, maybe.
The thought I had actually was that sorry, quick clarification, Luke. We see that the mechs are being loaded onto the ship. Are we seeing troops just boarding the ship?
No. You haven't seen anything in terms of troops being loaded on. You have noticed that they're sort of what would probably be best described as engineers being loaded on board.
But sorry, the Simic hybrids and the fire elementals, does it seem like any of them? I know you said there are some that we won't be able to see, but does it look like that any of them are boarding the ship?
Not currently. They're standing around getting prepared.
We need to get that quick.
Yeah.
That it's ready to go. They're loading it up. If that goes, we're on another hunt again. We'll probably be fighting against it.
Right, but this might actually be good. Remember, the blimp's limited, and they're loading on all of those mechs, which means the amount of troops they could have to accompany it would be limited. Once it starts moving away from that area, it's then the fighting is moved away from all of our friends at Contrivance, and if we
them and they can kill them.
Well, yeah, I was thinking we have Gundamir here. We're currently able to do cloud form. If we wait until it gets into the air, and the Scorchlord probably won't be on there. I mean, he's quite large. I'm not sure. Sorry, Luke. Quick reference. Does the Scorchlord look quite large? I mean, I know we fought him in a smallish room, but I know he's a big guy. And sorry,
He's a fire giant. He's about 20 to 30 feet tall. He could stand on the balcony, or he could stand on the top. He could, in theory, get into the back of the blimp and sort of sit in the cargo hold.
But that's probably the only space that would actually accommodate him, because most of it's corridors and rooms, isn't it?
Yeah, but also bear in mind that you are aware that, in general, the Visionaries do not leave their plane, their main primary plane, or they can't do for a very long time.
Yeah. So he's going to stay there, probably, and send the ship off with the Simics and the mechs to go do an attack. If we wait until the ship leaves the area, we can sneak on, hopefully get the mechs to be useful for us against whoever else is on there, or we just have to disable them and try and take everyone else ourselves, and then we can turn the ship around and come back for everyone, or something like that.
What's to say they're not just going to blink out resistance in that cave?
Oh, crap, yeah. Why did I think it was just going to fly away?
Yeah, it's probably not. They're probably going to blink out there. They're not going to risk being seen flying out. And the thing is, the last thing we want is to even get a chance to get it in the air. Because do you want to fight that thing?
No.
No, really.
Kalatar raises the hand. I might have something. It might be a bad idea, and he might say no. But Belgabad's not far from there.
I'm sorry, him?
Dragon friend.
Yes.
Friend.
I never said you had dragon friend.
Well, then he sort of rolls the sleeve down and you see this sort of slight covering of black dragon scales that are on his hand and arm. Well, friend is sort of the wrong word for it. He's kind of
Trumpet on the side?
patron. He grants me powers when I want to do certain things. Not those things. I do that well enough on my own.
Sugar daddy.
Doesn't give me money
Sometimes.
often.
You don't need it.
But he's not that far from it. You also, from your scrying, you sort of had a quick look around. The water, and you would have seen this before, the waterfall that normally falls from the Tasso Cliffs, that is now falling, that's falling lava and magma.
Oh, right. Okay, so we didn't actually go through the waterfall. It's fire now.
It's a fiery waterfall, yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, carry on.
Okay. Now we have seen this location, in theory, could one of you teleport or plane shift us there?
No.
We have to have been.
No, you need a something that is attuned to the element of fire, which you don't have.
What's
That's unfortunate. I was thinking if we could get in quickly, we could maybe just steal the blimp back, take it somewhere else, and deal with whatever forces were on board.
They might not
If we-
notice us as cloudy forms.
That's what I was thinking. If we can get to just outside the planar rim, and then convert to cloud form, hopefully we can quickly sneak in and drive off, I guess is our next option. Because, yeah, as you said, they'll just teleport out if we wait.
We do know the blimp well. We could probably figure out a good place to sneak on board and hide unobtrusively while we turn back.
We could even.
And the place is full of fire. There's probably smoke and steam. We might blend in as cloudy forms.
And potentially, if they do blink out and they try to attack somewhere whilst we're on there, then at least we can disrupt them from inside.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe if you guys, we can either try and sneak in there all together, or we can try and just cause a bit of distraction, try and hit them a bit whilst we're there. And I can always try and find another way into the mountain. Would Leela know there's other ways into the thing?
There are many passageways that get into Mr. Mile. There are a number of passageways that go from the bottom of the cliffs that lead into it, and there's a couple from the top that are less well used, but they are used as well. Mostly they are they're lift shafts, effectively, that are used for lifting goods up to the surface from inside, so they can take them to the northern towns and cities. So they're not subtle, like the northern ones, but there are passageways and entrances that come through. Are well they're guarded. You go.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So it's possible that we either go 3 options. We either all go in sneaky and try and just get the blimp and go. We go in, try and destroy as much as they've got. I go for the blimp and we go, or we go in and just try and get rid of much as possible. But I would like to try and get my people out of there, our people out of there. My friends, our friends, because they could be so much help to us. I don't want that to happen to what has happened to the others. I know different ways into the mountain. So we've got a variety of options. Depends how quick people feel to fight this many people, or we simply do a one and done, hit them as hard as we can and go. It just depends if we can get to the blimp, because if I can't secure the blimp, I know because the thing is I reduced the capacity, I reduced the requirements for anyone to fly it. Pretty much means anyone could. So anyone could be in there ready to take it away. Whether they'll have anyone in there whilst they're loading it, I don't know. But someone needs to be in there before we have to get in there, because there's no point.
That suggests stealth is the best approach, because if we create a disturbance or a distraction, they'll know we're coming and would have the chance to get it out of there.
Yeah.
If we can sneak on board, even if they do try to take it somewhere else, we'd at least go along.
Yeah.
And
Does anyone have something that was a part of the ship or on the ship for a long time?
But my crab, that was pretty much in there.
No, with us right now. Something with us right now. Anyone have anything they found on the ship and they just took with them?
There was nothing on the ship. Not really.
Because the real way to win this, as you're saying, is that the second we get on the ship, I mean, that's basically the minimum requirement. You know, if we get on, they can't teleport away from us. They take us with the ship.
Yeah, if we sneak in as clouds, we could hopefully get to the ship.
If we had something that was a part of the blimp, sadly, we could have just went straight onto the deck once we passed the planar rim, and I could teleport us right onto the deck. But yeah, I guess we have to try stealthing out. I'm just not sure about that. I mean, I know we'll be in cloud form. Like, Gundamir, have you transformed into cloud form and tried sneaking around? How well do you think that goes? Like, I mean, I feel like, the Scorch Lord's probably going to be able to see us. Haven't we already fought someone who was able to see us? I don't know, I think someone mentioned something like that. Just, I don't know how well we can hide when we're there. Is the thing I'm worried about. That's why being able to get on there in a split second from the outskirts feels like it'd be better, but I don't think we have that option.
Well, to answer your question, so much fun to gesticulate with two hands again. I have on occasion turned myself into a cloud and then gone away. There's probably a slight difference in as much as I can fit through small gaps when I turn myself into clouds, and you can't.
But like, I would quite noticeable when we fly around as a cloud.
Well, let's see if you'll notice me. And he turns into a cloud. And
is it like a white fluffy cloud?
It's you, but white. It looks like you as a ghost, but with like bits of mist.
Oh, when you said cloud, I genuinely thought we were just like one of those clouds from Mario.
No, no.
Smiley faces.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. No, Windwalk. Actually, I think this is what Windwalk turns you into. Windwalk. You assume a gaseous form for the duration, appearing as wisps of cloud. So you basically appear as a form of yourself, but you look like wisps of cloud. So you're kind of like a mummy, but ghost. So the mummy, but Casper, I guess, kind of.
Wisp of cloud? Right, I don't think you quite know what a wisp is.
You're a wisp.
No, it's like a wisp is like...
You assume a gaseous form of the duration, appearing as wisps of clouds.
Yeah.
Whilst in the cloud, when you twice speed of 300 feet, you have magic fear resistance to non-magical weapons. The only action you can take in this form is to dash or revert to a normal form, which takes a minute. And at which point you got incapacitated and cannot move.
I'd say, like, you can, if you look closely, you could probably make out, like, a humanoid form, but I wouldn't say that you had a lot of detail to
I would say you will have, it would be a vague humanoid form.
Yeah.
But vague humanoid forms, a group of them, it's not necessarily inconspicuous.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I just asked what it looked like.
Yeah, you're like a cloud.
Yeah.
But in a vaguely humanoid form.
Yes, that's fine. But, like, not us, but white as a ghost.
No.
I'm just clarifying. I just wanted to know how us we look like and actually not at us.
Not at us.
Sorry, just because this is new information, are you able in that cloud form to basically change shape but still do as you please? I mean, when you cast that cloud spell on us,
that's only me. I can do that because I am.
No. Yeah. Okay. So, can you do anything in that form, and can you get to any size?
Technically, I am as me at that point. I am not part of the cloud forms as part of the spell. I am as myself.
Yeah. But I'm asking, as yourself, in your ability to be a cloud and change shape and all that, and you can squeeze through small gaps and we can't. But are you capable of doing things like, say, if I said, okay, be in that form, be as inconspicuous as you can be, but also pull a lever, would you say that's capable? You're capable.
Well, let me have a look at what I can actually do.
I wouldn't want to send Gundam in there by himself.
That would be inconvenient. Well, it turns out I can cast Windwalk 3 times a day. I forgot about that. That's useful. No, not really. I can't really change it. I can sort of slide through some of the smaller cracks, but most of the time I'm just me. I'm solid.
Luke?
Yo.
Quick question.
Yes.
So in our cloud form, we can't do anything physical. But what about something like ending concentration on a spell? That should be doable, right?
No, because when you transform into yourself, you effectively concentrating. You end up being concentrating. You become incapacitated. So concentration drops automatically. So you can't cast spells beforehand, transform, and then move on because you become incapacitated whilst you are concentrating and turning into the cloud form.
So we have to.
No. What it is that you spend a minute concentrating to turn yourself into cloud. I guess it is kind of concentration, but you don't have any of the effects of if you're hit and you take damage that you drop concentration. You just become incapacitated. It means when you're incapacitated, you can't maintain concentration on a different spell.
You just can't do anything else.
Effectively, yes. You can dash and transform, that's it.
So,
It's not a combat.
sorry.
Travel. Go on.
Carry on your point.
Oh, all right. Sorry. No, I was just thinking. It's just because I'm basically expecting even if we go in cloud form, we're going to be seen. Honestly, I feel like we're going to be seen if we try and sneak in, but teleporting isn't an option. So,
Well, that's why I was thinking.
what?
If we've got other routes in rather than through the front door, there are shafts, like lift shafts, all dotted around the side of the mountain. They'll probably be guarded, but I'm guessing they're like quite spread out across the mountain.
Yeah, there's a few. Well, yeah, it's a cliff face. I think Dover more than
Okay,
but yeah, there is a sort of an element of those sort of spread out, but different access points.
Probably safer to go in that way rather than through the front door.
Gunnar says, I don't know if this would help, but I could create an illusion that lasts for about 10 minutes and is no larger than a 20-foot cube, but I could make a dragon appear and make it look like there's a dragon coming.
I feel the moment anything appears, the ship's gone. We can't run that risk. The moment the ship's gone.
But they might come out. They might come outside.
They might come outside. There's a risk. There's a risk that they might come outside to fight it. They might not take the blimp away if they think they're simply being attacked by a dragon who doesn't actually know the reason they're there. If they feel they're being attacked by rebel forces, we've got Star Warsy, then they might think, shit, we need to get the blimp away. However, they think they're just being attacked by a dragon, so the dragon just simply doesn't like them being there. They might rally the forces to the front to help try and keep the base alive. It's two very different things. Thing is, we could try and get in there as far as possible. Keep Gundamir outside, let him know to cause a distraction just to get us that little bit further in. Might get people away from the blimp enough that we could get into it a lot quicker.
The thought I was getting was that I can cast etherealness on 3 creatures. Sorry, clarification again, Luke. Sorry about all of them tonight. It says target up to 3 willing creatures, bracket, including you. Does that mean it must include me, or just that it can include me?
Well, where's that book? This is what you use for. The etherealness. Up to 3 willing creatures, including you. So it'd be yourself and 2 other creatures, because the basic spell is target self.
The idea I was coming with is that if the people going cloud form and in the ethereal plane, they can transform back in the cockpit and then immediately take control of the ship and bamf out. The problem is it has to include me, and I can't then transform into cloud form. So unless Gundamir could carry me while in the ethereal plane. But yeah, because ethereal plane will keep us hidden from anything that can't see into the ethereal plane, and that's a pretty narrow pool of creatures, I think.
I mean, I can go invisible. I mean, I know invisible's not that great at the moment, but these seem like kind of basic army creatures, maybe not that magically.
The ethereal, I will point out, the ethereal spell is not concentration.
Oh, flip yeah. You're right. Uh-huh.
So you could cast it, turn into a cloud on the ethereal plane, move across, transform back, and then return to the material plane. Those are two separate things. But it would be you and two others.
Me and two others. But that would be 3 people on the ship. How long does it take us in our experience to connect to the logic in the cockpit and trigger a teleportation?
Well, the connection's pretty much instantaneous.
I believe it's an action, but I will double check.
Connect and then to bounce.
And if this plan requires me to go along, I'm at least one person I think everyone in the party's connected to the ship, so none of us lack the experience to do a teleport as quick as possible.
Yeah, so Leela reduced it down.
If we're in the ethereal, it's probably not necessary, but I can use the staff to cast Pass Without a Trace as well.
Honestly, I just want to stack everything. We muck this up. I feel the ship is gone, or at least we've got a good chance of the ship gone. If not, we've got an army to contend with, and I don't like our chances there.
Etherealness is also a spell that is on the cleric spell list.
What?
So, in theory, you could take 6 of you.
What is Ethereal's?
I'd have to prepare it, which means we'd have to come back.
Let's do it tomorrow. Etherealness is a spell that's what Kabina is talking about, is it transports you to the ethereal plane. So you can basically just...
It's like you're like a ghost.
Oh, right, yeah.
We are, however, in a place loaded with clerics.
True.
Although one of them would have to come along with us because
Yes.
the timing requires them to be there to turn it off.
There's also only one of them that is a powerful enough cleric that would be able to do that, and he is Derek. Derek's the only one that's strong enough to do that.
We're bringing along one NPC, one Let's get every NPC.
He's kind of responsible for an entire race.
Yeah. So. I just want to jokingly get every NPC we've ever met together and do Dream Team and just.
I do have a favour from Half Elf Horse somewhere. Maybe now's the time to call it in.
We've got octopies, unicorns.
Yeah.
Who else have we met?
I think the unicorn died. I think you killed it. I think it died in your care at one point.
Yeah, it might have done it in a fight, I think. Quite early on. So we could wait until tomorrow and then take more of us with us, or we could just take 3 people in now, and then...
I mean, that's if we think it's necessary. I don't know if I'm being overly cautious.
I think overly cautious is better than not.
If they're loading things up onto the blimp, and just
It would imply,
it would imply they're getting ready to leave soon. That blimp looks pretty ready to go. I mean,
let's do it now. What's the worst that could happen?
Stop saying that.
I think maybe having a few of us trying to get to the blimp, but then a few of us back to maybe as almost like a defensive position, maybe gives us more, rather than all of us trying to do one thing. I know you shouldn't split the party, but we'll be fairly close to each other, but having a bit of a defensive position might give people time to get the blimp out of there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we have to fly in from the border, then half the party would stay at the border waiting for the ship to appear in to basically get on it. So I guess we'd leave the flying carpet with the outside team. That's if people think this is a good idea. Luke, sorry, quick clarif- I don't think I got the answer to that. How long does it take for us to connect and teleport out?
An action.
An action, sorry, you did say
Yeah, it takes an action to connect and then another action to actually teleport.
So, yeah, a full round has to pass before any one of us can...
That's if we're in combat. We might get in there and not trigger combat.
We're almost certain someone's going to be in the cockpit. That'd be a real dumb move of them. And, Luke's made the enemy smart. So,
Exactly, but it doesn't take much to pull someone out of the seat and just replace someone, even if then you have to crack on with them later.
I will point out that you don't have to be stacking the control seat to...
It's just in the space. Yeah, it's not even like...
vaguely in the cockpit, and it works.
There's
It's
not.
not in there trying to,
I don't know
like-
whether there's going to be some weird mind control battle off, but
Are there any cubbies inside the control room? Because if we are in the ethereal plane and we sit inside the space of a cubby and then I take the spell off, we just appear in the material plane in the cupboard or something, and then we quietly tell them.
Unsurprisingly, the Illithids not so keen on broom closets in the middle of their cockpit.
But what happens when the cockpit gets dirty and you need a mop?
They use the disembodied head of someone with dreadlocks, and they just place it around with it.
Wow.
I can go invisible, and I doubt if they've got someone in there just watching the blink to make sure it doesn't run. I doubt he's got much capability to be able to see someone invisible. So
Sorry, Leela, how many people can you make invisible?
only me.
Actually, if I'm not concentrating on etherealness, I think I can do that too. That can get 2 of us, and then if we get the 3rd person, Gundamir, can you make yourself invisible, or can anyone else?
I can make myself invisible, yes.
Thing is, I don't think it takes us all to be then invisible. If
No, forget. Yeah, I can do that actually. I can do it once. I can do it for an hour.
the thing is, we just need someone invisible. Well, we just
Well-
need invisible to get into the cockpit. If we're in etherealness and we're in the cockpit,
Ooh, that's a good question.
we technically drive the blimp.
No,
I can
Yeah,
Yeah,
imagine.
and I can't.
because otherwise you would teleport the blimp away, and you wouldn't go with it. So you'd send the blimp somewhere, and you've lost it.
we can't. Sorry, we can't do that anyway. I can't say, right, go in and out. This isn't like Wind Walk. This is I turn off the spell and everyone I had the spell on suddenly is back in the material plane. I can't selectively let one person out.
Correct.
Yeah, so, well then, in that case, maybe we just go to one of the rooms or wherever the cabins that we used to stay in, a select few turn invisible, make our way to the cockpit, and as soon as we're in there, bounce out of there.
I mean,
and keep people kind
we've
of
got 3 people who can go invisible. If we go in there all of a sudden from the ethereal plane invisibility, and hopefully they don't notice us, and we get the few 10 seconds we need to actually take control of the ship and make it leave. Oh shit! I'm also forgetting the other way. The thing about how control of the ship works. If someone else is controlling it, currently linked, can't they not want to teleport where we want to teleport?
Essentially.
yeah.
They can also spend their action to teleport it back to where it came from.
Yeah.
Oh god. This is such a trick. This
But
airship is such a tricky piece.
I doubt they're going to have.
No, it's fun.
I mean, I doubt they're going to have the pilots in there because the pilots are probably pretty important people to fly a blimp and manage all those weapons. I can't see that they're in there right now. They're probably out there working on the battle plans. If anyone's in there, it's either engineers, in which great, we can take them with us. They're not going to be a problem. I'll probably know them. Or they're just soldiers in there that are just there just to make sure no one comes in and does anything to ruin it.
They might be overconfident. They might
Yeah.
think we're stupid enough to leave the blimp undefended,
I mean, we did do that.
and thus think we're also stupid enough that we won't find the blimp again.
Maybe.
Founding that
But they won't have an entire army in there. I can't see that they're going to have more than, I don't know, 3-4 people. If they did, like, Copping's not that big, is it?
They're going to have all of you guys in there. I'm good with it.
yeah, it's like
And the
30,
small
40
dragon.
feet wide. Yeah.
The cockpit itself is pretty sizable. Most blimp cockpits are.
I'm sorry, I've never been in a blimp.
But you've also got, when you were there beforehand, and I think Common I think it was 40 foot across, about 30 deep, and then it had the balcony at the front as well. Which
Yeah,
was 40 odd feet.
Yeah, I think you had drew it 40 by 30, but it's a curve, so it's
Yeah.
like 20 at the edges.
Well, even so, if one of us can get in there and just bounce it, it might cause a bit of a distraction anyway. And the thing is, if we're all on the blimp, then it won't take too long for us to kind of get in there and deal with them. Either way, I don't see what else we can do. We can guess how many people are going to be in that cockpit. The main thing is we need to get to that cockpit. Regardless, that is the thing we need to be doing. That is it. That is it. The whole goal of this is to get to a cockpit. I don't see what else. There's nothing else we can do to get our blimp out of there.
Well, does what we've come up with so far sound good, or okay? Well,
Let's say, from the sound of it though, if we're going to do it that way, we're probably better off sending it in, having effectively 2 teams that go. You have the front team, you have Kafina, someone to be defense if they need to, and then someone who can communicate with the group that's left behind to then come and help if they need to. But that's going to be a 2-minute delay in getting the response to come and support.
Not always. If I leave Droney with you, it doesn't take 2 minutes.
No, I mean it takes. You've got the casting of the spell. You've got the transforming into mist. You've then got movement to wherever you are.
Can Gundamir unmist select you?
No, the spell. Gundamir has cast the spell upon you, and it is ongoing. It's not Gundamir's control. It's your own personal.
We turn it on
choice.
and off.
Right, yeah, so some people could hang around as clouds.
Yes, I suppose technically you could cast the
So,
Ethereal
if
the
a
problem
fight broke out, it would take them 1 minute to
transform back.
transform back.
Well, in that case, we just get everyone
Point.
on the blimp. Because if we're going to split in 2, and they're not going to be good enough for if they're not going to be here for a minute, I don't see how that's positive.
The problem,
Yeah,
sort
that'd
of
be
the problem is with getting everyone in the blimp is that there's only 3 people who can have etherealness, and that is the most foolproof way of stealthing someone onto the ship.
But you need to have the fail safe if something goes wrong, that you can call someone to come and help.
We've never had a fail-safe before. I don't know
Yes.
why this is suddenly a thing.
I could be one of the people who go, and I can send a message for
But
him.
you're also the only one that can cast Ethereal. You're one of the only 2 that can cast the Ethereals.
Well, I mean, this is if we go today. If we go today, then I don't have.
Well,
the
if you don't
spell
go-
available.
If you don't go today, then we can't get people there to support anyway. Because you can only send 3.
Yes.
With tomorrow, you can send 6.
So the first question then is: are we doing this today, or are we risking waiting till tomorrow?
So this is a
I think they're going to leave soon.
I would agree. I think today is the choice.
In which case, yes, we'll have to have 2 teams. Because that's the only way this is going to work. But
I mean, it's not a good idea because you're right. The backup of having people able to come in if we need them is important. Is no one else can do teleportation? Oh wait,
I can do plane shift.
I mean, if we're on the border, can you not just step through the border, grab something, and then step back and use it?
Don't know if that's how a focus would work. Is it?
No.
I think it has to be more.
The spell is specifically a fault rod that is tuned to that plane.
Okay.
Picking up, going into the fireman's plane.
It's picking up a spoon.
I was just thinking, clump
What
of
if I pick
dirt.
up
This
a-
is true.
What if it's someone's house and I pick up a fork?
It's not necessarily tuned.
what if it's a tuning fork?
Yeah, you need to go find the musicians and steal stuff from them.
No, it's perfect, right? I've got the Feywild for.
Oh,
We
no.
know that the Feywild's very fire, like weak to fire. So we'll light the key for the Feywild on fire.
Dear God.
Yeah, I mean, my original plan was just hope the idea that we would succeed and get the ship out. I could try teleporting us out if it fails, but
I mean, if we
Then-
got control of the ship, we've got control of the ship.
yeah, but if we don't get control of the ship and I need teleports out, that could still backfire. We could get counterspelled, and I can only really do a teleport once or twice.
like I say, I don't think anyone driving that ship's going to have a counter spell.
Can I say something
I-
which is maybe a bit out there, which is that if we break into 2 groups, then if this is a failed mission, at least there's still half the people to stop the end of the world.
This is true.
Yes.
The thing is, if we went down the shaft, we picked. I know probably which shaft is probably the closest or best way to get in. If we all went down there, but half of us stayed in there in cloud form, maybe, and the few of us went forward, they've got a good vantage point to see what's happening. If they needed to come in afterwards, what?
Actually, I would say, if Cedric's going, I'm going. Because if something happens to Cedric,
Well,
I die.
You did say you needed someone to act as defense. That seems.
Bellatar said that, yes, but it's confusing. We sound very similar.
No, you know what?
Asher would fill that role.
You're absolutely right, and
But I'm
also
not stealthy. That's the problem. I'm not stealthy.
but if you're in the ethereal plane, you could be.
yeah.
Only 3 of us can go.
Also, you'll be a cloud until you stand still for a minute. You can be quiet while you're standing still, right?
Can I?
What? So, quick question. What was the skill save that needed to be used to control the ship?
It was just intelligence.
It was just
check.
intelligence.
DC
And-
15 intelligence.
I loaded it by like.
Isn't it down to 10 now?
No, you loaded it to 210.
Oh, I loaded it to 10, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I might not be the best person necessarily anyway then.
Yeah, the problem is only me and Leela can do high intelligence and squishiest people here. So
With the only reason that Cedric would have to come along is to send a message in case shit went down.
In which case, one would
as
say
a
Teleton.
base, kind of as a base, what role would
Well, I could absorb some damage, and I can do some healing, and I have some other options.
Okay.
But Kalatar can
I'm
also
just
do
thinking
some of these things.
If Ash is going to come with Cedric, then there's only one other person that can
Correct.
go, and
It has to be Fina.
it has to be Fee.
Yes.
Do you 3 honestly feel that you could get the blimp?
I
If you
mean,
can, great.
I've done stupid
With-
missions with the blimp before, and it succeeded.
With surprise, I think they could.
Okay.
And they should have surprise.
I mean, we're essentially I get where you're coming from, but we're weighing up a quick reaction in the cockpit and the ability to see the ethereal plane, or the ability to notice a group of clouds crossing.
Yes.
How far would we have to go in the open?
Depends on where you come in from.
And then the moment we get spotted, there's, I don't know, just we wouldn't be able to transform back. At least the other, I don't know.
I think the ethereal is our best bet.
If you 3 feel that you can do it, that's absolutely fine.
Well, I mean, there are effectively several combinations you can have. You can either have Kafina, Cedric, and Asher. You
Well,
can have-
no, because if Cedric's going to go, then Ash is going to go, and it has to be Fee.
Yes. But
That's
say,
what-
if you
yeah, that's what I
But
said.
Cedric doesn't have to
There's
go.
no other
No,
combination.
there are other combinations because it doesn't have to be Cedric.
Yes.
Kelatar can do a lot of the same things. So it could be Kafina, Kelatar, and family or Lyra.
Okay.
Or if you want to focus on getting the mind stuff that you can control the blimp, it's Kafina, you, and family or Lyra.
I didn't hear that Kelatar could do most of that, in which case...
That's what Ross just said.
Yeah, no, sorry.
That's fine. That's why I stepped in
I'm-
to clarify things. I know there's a lot of things going
yeah,
on.
I'm a bit tankier than Kalatar is, but as far as spells go, we're kind of sort of similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean,
You can't heal while standing on the blimp
Yes.
at a point.
I think
But
I
Asher-
think just
Asher
as a being, I am slightly tanky. But yes, I would not heal as it goes. But yes,
Asher is also immune to fire.
obviously I've got the potion as well.
where's your jar of dirt though? Bring your jar of dirt with you.
I'm gonna fill my boots with dirt, so as I'm walking around, just
I've got a jar of dirt.
just mid-fight. Hold on. Just putting my feet in a jar.
That feels good on my.
I need to soil myself.
The other thing is, though, if I go, I have plane shift as a potential escape option,
Okay.
which I don't think Kelatar has.
No.
No.
Kelatar's I think above 5th level.
Yes. Cedric Asher.
It sounds like our best chance.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, I was thinking Lyra and Fanling are a bit quicker than Asher, so they could get off the mark and disable people. But as far as taking a hit,
Plus, if you're going to appear back out the ethereal plane, that should be good for surprise and allow you to get your actions in first.
Yes.
that's the hope.
Can we just clarify? Say we get the blimp and they go, what's happening to the rest of us?
You're waiting.
We should pick a place and wait and have the strike team bring the blimp to us so we can hop on board and dispose of any other
and if we get
on there.
teleported back for whatever reason, then at least we're all on the ship at the same time. Do we have a plan?
Yes.
Lyra?
What could go wrong?
Hey, we've completed our scouting mission without any problems. That has to be a good omen.
That has to be a good omen.
You mean without casualties? I'd argue there were problems.
Thunderbear reaches over and snaps your neck.
No, I have two hands. I can do that again.
Given that the scouting mission took place at some hundreds of miles distance, it was fairly likely we'd get through it without injury.
Yeah, going to a nice, safe temple in the middle of a desert, fairly okay.
And then,
as a point, you are fairly close to where the army is marching towards. You could go check in on them. They are also nearby, if you wanted to. Just throwing it out there.
and we might not be safe, Tom, because any moment the Fire Lord could pull some ring shit and start crawling out of the screen.
Torch Lord, not Fire Lord. That's a whole
Fire
other
Lord. You mentioned Avatar before, and now it's stuck in my head.
No reference.
That's enough.
Yeah. Okay. So I think maybe we should. Maybe those of us that are remaining as the force to be picked up, we should check with the crystallites if they'd like us to maybe move to a safer distance from this place. In fact, I think maybe we should just
Leave.
be over at the horizon before starting this plan. We don't want to endanger this temple.
So what? When if we get the blimp, we come back here, but not here. We come back.
But basically, we walk out of sight and then start this all off, and so we don't bring the blimp to this temple. Essentially, just.
But I actually thought we'd do it from just outside the fire plane's edge. I mean, we need to go there, and at least you guys would be close by in case of emergency. Unless the outside team wants to be this far away. I don't know. If I was on the outside team, I'd probably want to be closer. But I mean, you're in that team. I let you choose.
That's fine, as long as we're not putting allies and a valuable asset in danger.
So, where are you heading to? Are you staying within a close vicinity of the temple and going into the desert? Are you going somewhere near to Tasto Falls?
Near to Tasto Falls,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, can we because we can scribe by location and we see a pretty broad location. So theoretically, I could basically just keep scrying a little over just to start nudging the camera, right? Is that?
No, the camera is in a fixed point.
Mm-hmm. But I can't then just pick like a point on your periphery.
No.
Not like Google Maps that you could go down.
I wanted it.
You don't just pick up a little guy and then drop him somewhere and then suddenly see from there. No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just I
know the area, so when we get there, I can probably point out a safe, or at least kind of describe. I don't know. Are we gonna walk out a bit far and then just rendezvous back here?
Yeah. I mean, after we get the ship, I guess we can go anywhere.
From where you guys are currently, the shortest way that you could get into the blimp from where you are is to go around and go through the cave mouth under the waterfall, or lava fall as it now is. That'll be the shortest route, rather than going through the sort of catacombs and tunnels.
But if we go ethereal plane to go through the fire when we're going through the fire plane, we can go through solid matter, can't we?
You can. It just counts as difficult terrain, I believe.
But we have crazy speed, so we could just straight line it.
With,
I thought we were gonna.
you also can only see 60 feet in the ethereal plane.
Wait, no, but then that means even more. Oh, well, yeah, 60 feet we could
Okay,
go by.
you guys won't know where you're going.
Well, we'd still see the landmarks around us. Fee knows the area too, because I spent a year there, right?
No, but when you're in the mountain, when you're in the cave where the blimp is, you're not gonna know where the blimp is.
I feel like I've just ruined this entire planning session by reading a line in the spell.
Well,
Unless you're cloud forming. No, you're not. You're not cloud forming to the blimp. Are you?
Well, we could.
Going onto the ethereal plane, then turning into
Yes.
clouds, and then using that movement to get onto the blimp.
Yeah, but if you're in the ethereal plane, you can't see where you're going.
But we'd have enough movement. You could probably scour that entire system, couldn't you? Quite quickly.
Yes. If you move up or down, every foot of movement costs an extra foot. You can see and hear the plane you originated from, but everything is grey and you can't see more than 60 feet away. You can only affect and be affected by other creatures on the ethereal plane. Creatures that aren't there can't perceive you unless special ability or magic allows them to do so. You ignore all objects and effects that aren't on the ethereal plane, allow you to move through objects on the plane you perceive you're from. So yes, you can travel through solid rock if you wanted to, and just sort of keep going until you got to within 60 feet of wherever it is you wanted to go.
I mean, sooner or later, I should, get to somewhere around the contrivance that I recognize, theoretically. I don't know how well versed Fee was with the terrain.
You probably would have stuck to the as you look at it from the back. So if you look, you sort of imagine it's like a tulip bulb, and where the stem is at the back, and the front is the opening of the bell is where the waterfall is. Kafina was more acquainted with the left side, because that's where Kafina spent most of her time.
Do I know roughly where that hangar was? I mean, it's quite large. I should
That's
roughly
the,
know.
that's the main area of it. So
okay.
So that's the bit that's easily accessed by just going around the front. So, I mean, in theory, you could just go across the top of the cliff, down, and then round. And then along the floor, because you're then there.
Yeah, and so you shouldn't get lost then while looking for it, even though I'd only have 60 feet vision.
In theory, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, so who is going?
I think Cedric, Asher, and Kafina, I think was where we settled.
Yeah.
If everyone else is okay with that.
Yeah.
In the desert.
So everyone else is staying in the desert.
I thought we were all going. How good? No, seriously, how good? What? We're going to be hundreds of miles away. I don't understand this plan. Why are we the second line of defence, being 100 miles away?
Because there is no second line of defence, I thought either the plan worked or the plan didn't work.
Yeah, basically. The only reason we're saying about maybe the second team going somewhere else is so the blimp team don't potentially teleport a bunch of bad guys to this temple.
So the intention is... Okay, here we go. Group of 3. Mist. Travel really fast. Ethereal? Go back to Mist. Travel in. Get the blimp. Bamf the blimp out to a location where the second group is waiting. The second group is then able to board the blimp, obviously because there's no bad guys around stopping it. If they happen to still have some part control of the blimp, if they try to then bamf it back to where it was, well, then we have the group of people there ready to jump on board. and then we take the blimp home. Everyone lives happily ever after.
And we kill any bad guys left on the blimp.
If we were to all be near the plane, and then we took the blimp out, if we took the blimp out and we took it far away, and then there were still bad guys on it, then those 3 people would have to fight those bad guys on their own. Or if we took the blimp out, but we only took the blimp out to the edge of the area, then they could just as easily just like sail the blimp, if that's the right word, back into the zone if they wanted to, without needing to even bamf it. And also, I think things can still leave the plane.
Yeah, other stuff can leave that.
So
leave the fireplane.
there's a lot more risk of people hanging around on the edge and still having a huge army come and attack us. I thought was the summary of everything that we've been discussing.
The only other reason of having a secondary group nearby would have been if Cedric was also able to cast it.
Which we
on it.
can't do.
Can't today.
So if we're doing the plan today, then
we do want to do it today.
Then
if you do it now, there's no backup because there's no option for it.
Yeah.
Effectively. So it's a case of potentially this is a suicide mission between Cedric and Asher.
Yeah. Which is why it's also not bad that Asher and Cedric are also going, because the jointness there.
Okay, well, I will say that Leela will want to go.
You want to go?
I want to go.
To get the blimp.
If anything, I want to try and get as many people out as I can. I want to be in the vicinity. No, I'm sorry. I thought. No, I'm really sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm amused by.
I thought we were all going, but there was going to be a second line of defence somewhere around the area, and the 3 were going into the mountain. I did not realise that we were going to stay in the desert hundreds of miles away. In which case, no, I'm sorry. Leela would not want. Leela's not going to stand by and just let do that. That's her home. That's her friend, and that's her family. That's the blimp. No.
Okay, so there was a different group that worked with Leela going in, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was basically everyone else. Pelotar family, Lyra,
Like
and
those
and
people have to
Gundamir.
go in, but Leela's going to want to try and kind of be there to be if anything goes to shit. She's not going to be happy to be left behind. Basically, she wants to be there in case shit happens. She doesn't mind what role she plays, but she doesn't want to just be left there waiting.
Well,
You could literally be there. Like anything can happen, and if we're there, we don't know what the hell happened. We don't know if you guys have been captured, you've been killed, you've been abducted with the blimp. I thought us all going together would at least give us some idea of what each other are doing.
Gundamir says, "Well, what if we're a decoy team? What if we do something at the bottom of the falls that distracts them whilst they get the blimp and get out?"
Well, that was one of the first things. Like that was the whole thing with the dragon, but there was a risk of the blimp pissing off.
So long as the destruction happens simultaneously with us being on the blimp.
I just want to say, Leela, I'm sorry to say this, but we're not going there to save anyone today. The idea is to basically split the power that is there. If we take the ship and all the military on it and that out of the equation, basically taking on half the army today, we can then take on the other half tomorrow.
If that blimp's gone, those people have got nothing to work on. They will be killed. They'll be slaughtered. That's it. There'll be no one to save. We either try and get some people out now, or we just never return. So.
Well, I mean, once we have the ship, I guess we can go back straight away. I guess we don't need to split it into 2 days. We just need to split the army into 2 halves, or at least try and take the ship out of their hands. The ship is deadly. If we try and... It's Scorchlord standing so close to it. I mean, all he needs is one person to pilot it and him there, and we've got no chance.
Scorchlord's not actually there, is he?
No, he's the one standing outside looking at it. He was giving instructions to...
He's outside.
He's outside the blimp. He's in the cave, but he's...
Oh.
He's basically standing in the hangar doing the...
Which is why we need to snipe it out without, because otherwise he just literally gets... Otherwise we're just having a fight on the blimp as it's like hurtling through space and time. Which sounds really cool, but...
Which does sound really cool, yeah.
It's not productive.
No.
I don't mind not going. and we have a different team. I can cast sending, so if we need to communicate, then there is that option.
And I can as well.
The blimp is important to you, Leela, so if you want to be the one who's there making sure that the mission's a success, then I understand that.
I just wanted whatever's going to be most successful to stop them, I guess. I just misunderstood.
Gundamir scratching his face and thinking, technically, I can cast the plane shift spell, and I don't have the same limitations that you do.
Okay.
I don't require something that is focused to a plane. I can just be there. So if shit does hit fan, I could take us all into there. I couldn't get us out.
And
well,
how
wait.
accurate could you be with the teleportation?
As accurate as anyone can be with these things.
Oh.
So there's a bit of a thing. It was
I
just
already
that
knew where Kafina's mind was going. We can't
Sorry,
get straight
yeah.
onto the ship.
I know. I'm sorry. He said no limitations. I thought maybe he didn't have the limitation of not being able to.
he doesn't
pinpoint
require
someone.
the material components. But he does still have the same limitation with the spell itself.
Okay. Ross, sorry, that was where I went. Oh my god, why didn't you tell us that? Like an hour ago, we could have just teleported us all onto the
was a reason.
ship.
I rolled an intelligence check and he only just realised it.
Yeah, but again, it's the argument of do we want us all there on a suicide mission, or do we want a backup?
So instead, we have a group of people who are ready to receive the ship, but if they receive word that shit's gone down, Gundamir will teleport them onto the plane, which closes that huge gap, which means you don't have to risk anyone being near the plane and it being exposed and the ship bamfing out because they've spotted us and all this sort of stuff. But it also means that we have people there ready to react if the people who do go in need backup.
Kalatar said, would it be worth if I spoke to Belgabad to see if he might be on board to come as well?
I think more allies is good.
Possibly even not even joining an attack. If he could make himself threatening sort of around and above the falls, that might draw some attention away.
But wasn't that one of the arguments that if that happens, they might just take the blimp and go?
They might realise that it's a diversion. You know, the
I
logical
feel like that's less likely. I feel like
Again,
how would any enemies of theirs be able to persuade a black dragon to do anything?
I mean, could just be a dragon in disguise. I can transform into black dragons myself, so
Yes.
yeah. And there's illusions, and there's always. I just feel that the moment they see us, we run that risk, and I feel we need to avoid it. But yeah, again, whatever we all think collectively is best.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what Gundam's trying to say. I don't understand.
So Gundamir can use the plane shift spell to transport himself and other people to another plane of existence, which this area currently is considered to be. What was causing the problem beforehand was that the party doesn't have a tuning fork to tune that's material part of the spell. You need it as a material component to get to that plane. Gundamir doesn't need that.
Mm-hmm.
So Gundamir could wait until, if he heard from Cedric, shit's hit fan, we need people to come support us, he could teleport you to Tasto Falls in the elemental plane of fire.
Yeah.
Not specifically on the ship, but closer.
Close,
There-
close enough. That
Probably closer than if you guys were on the outskirts of the plane and then walked
Flew in.
in. Yeah.
I weirdly have an idea that might be even better than that.
Okay.
sorry.
Today is the planning session.
Again, you didn't let us. Gundamir only just thought of this, so it only just became possible. But if Gundamir gets us onto the plane, I'm able to then teleport the entire group anywhere in the plane. Which means if I just make sure I get ready to cast mine the second after yours finishes getting us in the plane, I can get the entire party on the ship
But
in that split second.
if we can do that, couldn't we just fly down to where the border is, walk across, and just go from there?
Oh my god, maybe we could have rolled that. Wait, hang on, yeah, sorry. Oh, no, wait, yeah, associated part of it. I won't get anywhere near it. I keep forgetting that. Sorry, ignore everything else. Oh. We went over this before, sorry.
Kalatar,
Yes.
how able are you to change your magic around? Are you sort of stuck with the spells you know?
At the moment, yes, I can change a spell once a day. Technically.
Okay, so here's an idea. What
But
about?
it's a like for like leveling thing. Circle of power.
I see. One idea. What about instead of trying to sneak and try to get there unseen, how about a disguise? From what we've seen in the scrying mirrors, there are a lot of creatures of various sorts there.
Yes.
I wonder if we might be able to disguise ourselves magically so that we, shall we say, seem to be people who belong there.
Well, I have to say that seeming might make a real difference. But hold on, I'm getting another thought. There's another thing entering into my brain somewhere. Hello. Stop, internet. There's another voice is appearing in my mind.
Ah,
You're just playing
Kalatar himself is here. We can kill the doppelganger.
Oh no, not doppelgangers.
That's not
No more. No, not again. Well, no more.
I mean, I've landed in. I've got no clue what's going on.
I mean,
That's right.
a lot's kind of happened, and yet barely anything has happened.
So, truncated version of the plan. The current plan is to, well, it seems to be, I thought you would, seems to be at the moment that Athena, Cedric, and Asher fly using the wind walk that Gundamir has provided to them, fly to Tasto Falls, use the etherealness spell to go to the ethereal plane, turn back into mist again, and fly around to the blimp, which they have found is in Tasto Falls, being tanked up by the fire people. They're basically adding weapons and shit to it. They fly in, they get on the blimp, and they turn back to they turn back to physical form. Then they return to the material plane, and then they just take the ship and get the fuck out. I like it. Currently, the thinking I think Tom was suggesting is that Leela doesn't want to be away from the blimp. She wants to be there to be able to help if something goes wrong, rather than sort of being left in the desert where you guys currently are. If shit goes down, you're in the scrying Gaia temple. Cool. Lyra is suggesting that Kalatar, perhaps through some illusion magic that he can potentially gain from a night's rest, to make it appear as if people are denizens of this area naturally, so they can be there for support. Alternatively, Gundamir can plane shift the rest of the party into Tasto Falls, into Mr. Mal, but it doesn't necessarily get them nearby. So there's options. Trying to narrow it down to what's the best ones for the best support. Cool.
The part Luke missed out was how he spent about 5 minutes describing the massive fuck off army that is around the blimp.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
There are 30 fire elementals. There are about 50 goblins and gnomes working on the blimp against their will. There's about 10 mecha golems being loaded into the back. There is Scorch Lord. There's a load of foundling-like creatures, about 25 of them. Fire giants as well.
Yeah, so if we do get caught, this is...
Scorch Lord is a fire giant. Scorch Lord is a fire giant.
Yeah. So I thought you said there was more.
No.
That's rather awesome people.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to be cruel.
That's what you can see with a 28 perception check.
Right, okay, good. Yeah.
To be fair, though, we can't see on the ship, so for all we know, there's already half an army as well on there. So yeah, Luke just went ahead and set the encounter to easy for us, you know, being gentle today.
No, I set your expectations below before I just suddenly go, right, how many of these things can I actually put in there at once? But anyway. So yes.
I think it's just going to be a case of what people think is going to be more successful.
Stealth is our best approach. The fewer people, the stealthier they are, the better that is.
And while the cloud form allows us to move fast, the drawback is the moment we're spotted, the only option we have is to leave, because turning back into regular form takes a full minute, and we can be attacked in that minute.
And if they see the clouds, then they would probably just bamf the blimp out. Or if they see a threat, they'll probably bamf.
Yeah, it's a mega weapon that's also got smaller weapons inside. It's a large weapon with a lot of medium weapons and a ton of small weapons.
The arms have like metal casings over it that have got spikes all over it, and there's barrels essentially so that could just drop, and you don't quite know what's in them.
Can't be anything good.
Smaller weapons.
Luke did say that regular arms were being loaded onto the ship, so that's why I think the Simics are going with it, because they're the ones that will be using the regular arms, I'm guessing.
There was also a brief mention of Belzebad possibly coming along and helping out because it's near his home.
But if we're trying to be stealthy.
That was your suggestion, by the
That
way.
was my suggestion as Kalatar, just as throwing it out as an option.
Yes. Bring along an ancient black dragon who isn't entirely kind towards me at the moment.
He's only an adult black dragon.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
That's what we are. Kalatar, you've woken up now.
I agree with Cedric that the fewer people there, the better.
it's obviously a risk that goes with that, but
Well, particularly given that one of those is Asher,
yes.
not the stealthiest of people.
No, but once
Take my armor off.
on the ship as well, it should be less of a problem.
I mean, she'll be a cloud, invisible, and in the ethereal plane, and the only time those won't be the case is when she's standing still to turn back to normal, so...
But the transformation back is on the ethereal plane, so...
Yeah.
And also pass without trace.
Yes.
Does not stop Connor rolling the one.
Maybe it's an inspiration.
All of a sudden, the people working on his
I mean,
ship
this
just
is
hear,
this was the other reason why I was going, because I could do pass without a trace out of the staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are we okay with this plan?
So to confirm,
Yeah.
you three going in,
Yep.
the rest of us staying here.
Yes, slightly off from the temple, so we don't reveal its location, I think. But yes,
So we can plane shift if needed.
yes.
Yeah.
We have a plan.
But it's not going to go wrong.
We just have
And
to,
on that note, thanks,
we
Ross.
just have to remember it next week.
We've stacked so
No.
much into this. It's like we're
Yeah.
trying to just put it all in our favor, but it is going to be
House of
one
cards.
thing that fucks it up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get there. There's a trap door that you could have just walked in. It'd be fine.
May the odds be ever enough.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to think about this for the next week because we don't want any more new ideas coming in and derailing all this stuff.
I love it. All right then. So, with that plan set in motion, I mean, we could literally just say that you start doing it now and then you're locked in. We shall bring tonight's session to a close. That is interesting. We'll see where this will lead us next time. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. That was interesting.
You mean interesting as in you have a whole week to figure out how to foil it?
Or, Luke's gonna go, these guys, they spent so much time making this plan. I want to see them succeed. And we rock up and the army's just left and the ship's just there on its own. No one's
Ross.
starting it.
Ross, I've already got you the thing you really wanted for your birthday. It's sitting over there and I'm throwing farts. Don't touch it. It was the choice. This or Secret Hitler.
I should have, yeah.
He let the octopus plan go. So
Yeah, the octopus plan did work, which is I didn't want to bring up, but I was going to we've done it once
Unfortunately, we
before.
couldn't work out a way to make the octopuses survive if they swam through lava.
Yep.
It's the same. It's the same plan. That's the thing. It's the same plan.
Yes. There's more fire.
What you don't realise, Ross, is that Luke's going to combine the two. You're going to get on the blimp and find it's being piloted by Hitler.
Yes.
Secret Hitler blimp.
Then we've got sort of a whole other realm of problems to sort out.
I feel like there should be another arrow on there, Ross, with just a profit.
The Prophet, yes, it should be, yeah.
What we're saying is the fire
So
giant.
foolproof 15-step plan to success.
Yeah, the fact that a visionary is standing in front of it and it's basically stealing his car from in front of it.
Yes.
Pretty much.
That's going to go
Yeah,
on. So,
yeah. Okay, so if one of you has a free action, use it to give him the thing.
Yeah, on the way by.
all of you. All right, so thank you very much for joining us. Come back next time if you want to see how this goes. We'll be back here, same back time, same back channel. Join us on @CritSurvive on Twitter. Come see us next time. We'll see how this turns out. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And good night.